Hit your vape.
Yeah, sure, bro. Pull through.
Sweet. Cheers.
Okay, goodbye. Moving on to the next guest. Everyone, just give us a minute. I guess no Trump supporters really want to talk to us. I don't know what's going on. I've no clue what's going on. What's going on, guys? Okay, how about this? If you're watching and you are a Trump supporter and you like to come up and debate, go to drop a Maga in that chat with your age. I'll invite you to come up on the stream because for whatever reason, the queue, it's just the people in the queue aren't following the rules at all. So, and it is what it is. But we got to go out and start pulling people up from the chat instead. I think that we converted everybody in the stream. I think that we converted everybody in the stream. What's going on? Do you support Trump?
Yeah.
How old are you? Okay, so everybody, it looks like we have 14-year-olds that want to request. So the kids want to come up. How about the adults? Do the adults want to come up? Is that a thing? Can we do that instead of the children? Because I would love if we could do that instead of the children. If we could do the adults instead of the children. Can we do that, everybody? Can we get some MAGA adults to, request to join? I mean, I know that there's 7,000 people in the TikTok stream right now. Have I just been able to convert every single one of you? I think I have. I think I've been able to convert every single one of you. And that's obviously the only explanation why nobody wants to join. What's up, Easton and Jackson? You guys support Trump? Okay, so we have two people on the live. Okay, one just left. They didn't even say a fucking word. Now, Easton's left. What about you, Easton? Are you going to leave like Jackson, or are you just not going to say anything and hang out with me here? He's just not going to say anything and... Oh, now, there he left. Okay. Holy crap. Lucas, thank you for the $5 over on Venmo saying 80. Hey, Lucas, appreciate you for the love. That's incredibly kind of you. What's going on tonight, Stippler? Do you support Trump?
Yes. How you doing, Dean?
I'm doing phenomenal. And how old are you?
38.
You're 38. You support Trump. Okay, well, I think the pressing question on everybody's mind today is how can you support Trump after the BBB just passed through both the Senate and the House, which is expected to take away healthcare benefits from 17 million Americans, put the SNAP benefits at risk for 11 million Americans, while defunding student aid such as the Pell Grant for millions of Americans as well.
So I'm in the tax bracket that would actually pay lower taxes, so it benefits me.
Okay, all right, man. I get that. It benefits you, but that doesn't mean it doesn't hurt a lot of other people. And I think that we could agree.
Things hurt a lot of other people.
But I think that we could agree that, being able to take home like a couple hundred extra dollars per year at the expense of, just destroying the lives of millions of people is like a terribly cruel decision.
However, both our beliefs destroy the lives of many people. You guys believe in systemortion, and I believe that destroys millions of lives too.
Okay, so you want to now pivot onto debating abortion. Listen,
no, I don't want to pivot. I'm just saying we both believe in things that destroy a lot of lives.
Okay, well, I mean, obviously, my response here is that I actually think that abortion is good. For the qualities of lives of individuals in this country, and I don't think that it's morally wrong. One moment, I don't think that it's morally wrong to kill the fetus. But I mean, if you're like more so critique is to say that, well, you do think it's morally wrong to kill the fetus, and that's destroying lives. We could have that debate, but hopefully, like, we're not gonna like disagree on like the moral value and the dignity and worth of the 17 million Americans that are going to lose access to healthcare. And I think that you saying that you would prefer to take home a couple hundred extra bucks per year at the expense of destroying the lives of millions, and then just merely saying, "Well, Dean, you're pro-choice," that's not a sufficient, response. Like, actually answer for your own. Actually answer for your own cruelty. Explain to me how you could justify taking home a couple hundred extra bucks per year at the expense of destroying the lives of millions of Americans.
Should you worry about your own family before other people?
Should you worry about your own family before other people? In some senses, yes. In some senses, no.
Okay, well, that couple $100 makes me provide better for my family.
Okay, but what about all the other families that are going to be absolutely destroyed because they no longer have access to food stamps? They no longer are covered under the ACA, and their quality of life is significantly diminished.
Now that I have a couple extra $100, I'll donate it to the church to help other people.
Okay, so basically, no matter what the effect on the lives of others is, as long as it benefits you, you like it?
The church helps other people all the time with those issues.
I know, but that couple hundred extra bucks going to the church isn't going to be spent to cover the health care for millions.
Okay, I can't save millions, and nor can anyone who voted for Trump.
Actually, yes, you could have by voting against Trump.
No, because they're both bad.
Oh, so you think that Kamala Harris would have defunded healthcare for 17 million
I'm
Americans?
against all government, yes.
Okay, go ahead and justify that claim that Kamala Harris would have taken away healthcare from 17 millions of Americans.
I never said that, but she would have done other things.
Okay, what would she have done that was morally comparable to that?
She followed policies that I just didn't agree with, such as
like what? What was morally comparable to
the Second
taking away
Amendment
healthcare from
the stuff
17 million
else.
Americans? Oh, being a
The
threat to
Second
the
Amendment.
Constitution. Donald Trump explicitly called for the termination of the Constitution, and
That's
during
not-
his first
that's not what we're
administration,
debating.
he passed gun control that violated your Second Amendment right until SCOTUS overturned it nearly 3 years later. It was a bump stock ban.
That's not what we're debating, though.
I'm merely showing you how it's hypocritical for you to suggest that you're okay with Donald Trump stripping away healthcare from millions because you think that Kamala Harris was anti-2A, even though her and Biden passed no gun control that violated the Second Amendment, and Donald Trump did.
Well, Biden didn't do anything. He just kind of sat there.
He actually passed more policy than Trump.
So, okay.
So I just want to clarify, without the pivots and deflections this time, do you or do you not ultimately support a bill that's going to reduce the quality of lives for millions of Americans, taking away food stamps from hardworking families, so all of a sudden they're only able to give their children 2 dinners a week instead of 7, taking away health care from millions of Americans, including
just
homeless
don't get-
vets, homeless children, and
I know
disabled
I'm a vet,
adults?
so I can speak on it.
So then you definitely don't support the fact that the Republicans in the
I
Senate
do.
rejected an amendment to the Big Beautiful Bill to protect access to food stamps and SNAP benefits for homeless veterans.
No, all right. So when you're that much in debt, right? How do you get out of debt?
How do you get out of debt? By definitely not by spending the most money that's ever been spent on a single bill in American history.
Well, see, I can agree with that. Okay, that's fine.
Well, that's the BBB. That's what the BBB does.
No, well, you just said they're cutting benefits, so wouldn't that be saving money?
So they're cutting benefits and they're spending more money than they're cutting.
And what are they spending it on?
Yeah, for sure. An extension of Donald Trump's tax cuts, primarily.
More border patrol agents.
$120 billion on ICE. Like the total net impact of the bill in
more
our debt is
more-
$4 trillion.
So more border patrol agents, right?
Right? You know, $125 billion
Is that-
on ICE.
Is that not okay to support that?
I don't think it's okay to support that with a reallocation of funds away from healthcare for low-income Americans. No, absolutely not, no.
Well, why is it everyone's job to help low-income Americans?
Well, I definitely... Are you saying why is it the job of our government to do what is responsible with the taxpayers' dollars and ensure that they're spent most optimally? I mean, can we agree that it's more optimal to spend money on health care for Americans in poverty than tax cuts for billionaires?
Yeah, because I think it should be up to the community. Why? I don't want my dollars going to something I have no idea what they're spending on or who they're going to.
Well, we have an idea of what the money is being spent on when we spend it on healthcare.
Like what?
But we don't have on healthcare. But we don't have an idea of where the money's being spent on when we spend it on tax cuts for the ultra wealthy.
Okay, so for instance, all right, so it's for healthcare.
Wait, answer to what I just said. Like
I
when
am.
we
I'm
spend money on
answering
the
right
ACA, it's money spent on healthcare.
I'm answering that right now. So the average middle-class, blue-class worker who's paying healthcare through a company, right, who pays thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, but then the person who doesn't work or whatever just gets it free.
Oh, and you don't like that? Well, guess what? The BBB is actually going to increase annual healthcare premiums for the average middle-class American by $26,000 a year.
That's what it says.
You silly goose. And
Does
then
it say-
also,
show
why
me
do
where
you,
that
well,
says
also,
that.
what?
Show
Sure,
me where
I'll
it
happily
says
give
that.
you a source. And then also, why do you think that it is okay to give some government health care to Americans in poverty for free, while then having the average middle class American pay a couple $1,000s for their premiums? Is
It's
it
not a
maybe
couple
because if low income Americans also had to pay the couple $1,000s for their premiums, they wouldn't be able to afford it and they would fucking die? I don't know. Just an idea, sir.
Yeah, no, that doesn't resonate.
No, that's not the reason. Well, then what is? Please tell me.
So what's your solution to that then? How do you get the low income people the stuff they need?
I'll answer your question after you answer mine.
What's your question? Sorry.
Well, I mean, you said that it's unjust that the average American pays a couple $1,000s in premiums for healthcare, then low-income Americans get it for free. So, yeah, is the reason that is the case is it maybe because if that low-income American also had to pay the thousands of dollars in premiums, that they wouldn't be able to afford it and they'd fucking die?
Potentially.
Oh, so you see where I'm coming from? Obviously, we
Yeah,
don't want them
but there's a difference.
obviously we don't want them to fucking die, so we're going to give them free healthcare.
Okay. And who's going to pay for it?
Who's going to pay for it? You, me, and every other taxpayer in this country.
Why?
Why? Because we don't want them to fucking die.
And that's the reason we should all give all our money away and not put it towards our families.
That's the reason why the money that we pay in taxes should have some allocation for the social safety nets.
Don't you think that's how you make the middle class poorer to become the poor then?
No, actually, this only makes the middle class stronger. Because guess what? When we have low-income Americans that aren't focused on their very immediate needs to prevent death, such as healthcare or food, well, then they're not just going to claw at the closest job in proximity of them, regardless of the wages in which they'd make, and instead can dedicate some of their time to going to school, getting a degree, or future planning a career. Okay,
like I could
and then no, you're not going to interrupt me, little boy. And the reduction of
I'm older than you, actually. So
I'm not calling you a little boy because of how many times your body's been around the sun. I'm calling you a little boy because of your lack of empathy, your lack of intelligence, and your very low level of mental acuity. Now, if you're going to allow me to finish,
actually, I would say the liberals have lack of empathy.
I mean, you're up here telling me that you'd rather people fucking die than spend, I don't know, $5 out of every $100 that you make on healthcare for low-income Americans. So I don't know about that. And I'll happily let you make the argument that we're okay with killing babies after I finish what I'm saying, but you actually got muted there. I didn't mute you. My mods didn't mute you. No clue what happened there. But anyways, so you said that it actually makes the average American poorer when the average American has to pay some taxes for social safety nets for low-income Americans. And that's not true. So the social safety nets actually galvanize the middle class, galvanize the average American, and are better fit for them. And the reason why I say that is because when low-income Americans don't have to focus on their super immediate needs,
are better fit for them. And the reason why I say that is because when
hey, Pud, you got to mute. You got an echo, so you got to go in and out of the app because you have an echo. You got to fix. You got to fix.
So you got to go in and
bro,
out of the app.
are you even listening to me? Don't unmute yourself.
I'm going. My phone's tweaking.
Don't unmute yourself. Swipe in and out of the app. Why? Stop unmuting yourself. You have an echo. Swipe in and out of the app. Fucking hell. Only have to repeat it 5 times. Jesus.
Is it better now?
It is. I wish that you would have listened to me the first time. Now I'm gonna go ahead and finish. I'm gonna go ahead and finish what I was trying to say, without like the billion interruptions from you. So you said that the average American paying some taxes into social safety nets for low-income Americans makes the average American poor. That is not true. Those social safety nets actually make the average American a little bit richer and regalvanize the middle class. The reason why I say that is because when we can ensure that these social safety nets exist to address the immediate needs for low-income Americans that need it, such as food or access to healthcare, etc., well, then that average low-income American isn't going to be as focused as they would have been on those immediate means with the social safety nets. So maybe instead of working 60 hours a week to ensure that they could feed their children every day, they'll get access to SNAP benefits, and instead they'll work 40 hours a week and then spend the additional 20 on maybe going to school, getting a degree, or going into a better trade so they could better future plan and scale their income over their lifespan. And what this amounts to is the economic theory of social mobility. What social mobility is how easy or hard it is for one to scale their income and move from a low-income bracket to a higher-income bracket. And what we know is that the more social safety nets a country has, the more economic mobility their average citizen has.
That would be a great prescription, and I agree. However, that's with an assumption that you're saying that low-income people that and the poor are actually going to thrive to do those things.
It's not an assumption. It's a proven empirical fact, sir. Like we literally look at countries with more social safety nets. They have economic mobility. We look at countries with less social safety nets. They have less economic mobility.
So you could easily disprove that by saying if you find one or a group of people that have been on SNAP benefits their whole life.
So no, that's not how you easily disprove that, because we're going to be looking at what happens on average. You can't just point out a few fringe cases and say like this is going to refute the theory. I could give you like an example of your logic here. Like, could we agree that like the higher your income is, like the more healthy you are, generally speaking, the longer your lifespan is?
Okay.
But would you say that, I don't know, some like crazy guy could easily refute that by pointing at a billionaire that died from an OD at like 30 years old? No, because that's not gonna, no, the answer there would be no, not sure, because when we're speaking in this generalization, we're going to be talking about the average.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Right, so you can't refute the idea that more social safety nets would amount to more economic mobility and an ability to scale in an economy, just by being able to point out a couple fringe cases of individuals staying in low-income brackets for the totality of their life. And then also, you know, just something that I find crazy, for everybody watching, I want you guys to listen closely to what this guest has been saying throughout the totality of my conversation with him so far. Because MAGA has regressed their way down to just straight up saying that social safety nets shouldn't exist, that food stamps shouldn't exist, that free healthcare for low-income Americans shouldn't exist, that social safety nets keep poor people poor and make the average American poorer. Like you're basically just advocating for this dystopian worldview of Lord of the Flies. And that's all because Donald Trump has introduced that worldview on the macro scale with bills such as the BBB. And I think now is the time for you to say that you don't support this policy, you don't support this president, instead of just hopping on board with this dystopian worldview where we're actively advocating for societal regression, ensuring that the next generation grows up worse than the generation before them.
Yeah, I don't concede to that.
Well, let's get a little bit more of a counter argument than
the average person stays on SNAP benefits for 3 years.
I honestly thought it'd be longer. Wow, that only like proves what I'm saying further. The average person is only on them for 3 years. Yeah, this proves that that you're in this low income bracket where you qualify for the SNAP benefits. You receive them to focus on paying for your food and the food of your family, and then ultimately you could use that as a jump pad to scale and grow your income. Thank you so much for further justifying what I was telling you. That's great.
I think someone could definitely improve their life before 3 years.
So do you just think that we should get rid of SNAP benefits then?
No. Like, for instance,
wait. Why not?
There's one benefit I will agree that I think is a benefit program, such as like WIC. So I believe every first-time mom, regardless how rich or poor you are, you should get WIC.
That's not the question that I asked you. Should we get rid of SNAP benefits such as food stamps or EBT for low-income
To be
Americans?
honest, yes. I believe that. Yeah.
You understand that this will cause
as
people
long
to die?
as there isn't like a disability.
You understand
or
that this
like
will cause people to die. This will cause.
You have no
children to starve
proof of
to
that.
death.
You have no proof of that.
Wait, I mean the proof is in the pudding.
Who's
There's plenty
died because they
there's
didn't get
low-
SNAP benefits?
You're basically asking me who would die from starvation, right?
No, because people are forced to feed their themselves. They're not going to There's countries that don't have SNAP benefits. They're not all dying.
Wait, you're saying that I couldn't find a country that doesn't have SNAP benefits for low-income Americans, and I couldn't point out a handful of cases
What I'm telling you,
where we've had low-income citizens from those countries die from starvation?
There are countries that are poorer that don't people are just dying at massive amounts for starvation.
But we can agree that there is still yet individuals in that country that are dying from starvation because they don't have money to pay for food, right?
Sure.
Okay, well that's what happens when we remove the SNAP benefits. Like for
But
instance,
it's not at a mass amount that you're talking about.
All right, so you're basically saying some level of children starving to death is going to be acceptable.
No, it's not acceptable. The best part about America is that we have communities that would help
if it's not acceptable, then we should.
individually.
If it's not acceptable, if it's unacceptable, then we should prevent it. The way that we can help
but the
prevent it
difference
is through
between that
social
is-
safety nets such as food stamps.
In those poor countries, they don't have communities where people are helping each other. In those specific communities, they're kind of like fend for yourself.
Dude, this is communist rhetoric. Dude, you've literally gone so far right that now you're back on the left. So you're basically assuming that everybody is going to be benevolent and look out for one another.
Yes,
and work
I would never let my
efficiently to
neighbor-
take care of one another.
I would never let my
However,
neighbor-
it's not the case that the constituents of this country on the macro scale can operate as a family unit and benevolent and look out for one another in a benevolent manner that is completely efficient and productive. And because of that fact, thereby, I would say that we should have some level of forced benevolence, which would be the allocation of some expenditure given the money that we would collect through the government by taxes on those social safety nets.
No, what I'm saying is middle class America shouldn't be paying $40,000 to $50,000 in taxes a year.
But you understand now, according to projections from the University of Pennsylvania, the average middle-class American is going to be paying an additional $500 in taxes per year because of the BBB, right?
That's not true for my income bracket. That is not true.
Well, I mean, then you're not the average middle-class American, right?
Yes, yes, I am. I fall right in the middle of there.
Okay, so you make $55,000 per year.
Close, yeah, sure.
So yeah, Brody, you're gonna be paying more in taxes. Fuck that. I'm serious. These are projections coming from the Wharton School of Business.
And last time Trump was president,
this is coming.
My federal taxes did go down.
Well, this isn't the last time Donald Trump was president.
I saw it physically. But that's why I supported him. I'm just letting you know. Last time he was president.
Wait. I'm so sorry. You're now shifting the goalposts. I'm giving you projection from the Wharton School of Business from the University of Pennsylvania on the big beautiful bill. They tell us that everybody making around $55,000 per year or less are going to be paying more in taxes, and that doesn't even include the additional $400 per year. The average American household is going to be paying an additional energy cost because they're sunsetting clean energy credits from the IRA, and this definitely doesn't include the increase in healthcare premiums on the average middle-class American. Dude, you are going to be paying more for power to keep your lights on. You are going to be paying more in taxes. And you're basically saying that you support this because there's going to be more poor people dying from starvation and more poor people dying because they don't have access to healthcare.
Once again, you don't have proof of that.
Yes, I do. I absolutely do have proof of that. So when we increase
at the richest country in the world, there's just going to be random people dying of starvation.
Yeah, there's going to be more people dying from starvation because of a sunset of SNAP benefits. Absolutely.
I doubt it. We'll see. We'll find out. The bill passed, right? So in a month from now,
I'm trying to give you the proof. I'm trying to give you the proof. I'm saying that more people will die from starvation. Why do you keep equivocating my claim? Why are you being such a ruthless POS? Absolute anti-intellectual. Bro, stop it. Literally stop equivocating my claim. I'm claiming that, dude, okay, this guy's rage baiting. This guy's rage.
We'll see.
Are you going to listen to me? No, then actually try to use your brain to listen.
Now you're not going to see people starving.
Oh my God. My claim is,
in a month from now,
dude, this is unreal. This is unreal. Listen to what I'm saying.
From now,
stop talking. Stop talking and listen to me. Are you ready? Okay. You are making an equivocation of my claim. What is my claim? What were the words that came out of my mouth?
I was thinking about how in a month from now, people will not be starving to death.
Okay. My claim was that more Americans will be starving to death because we are sunsetting SNAP benefits. Okay, that is my claim. The equivocation you're making is you're going from my point, which is more Americans will starve to death because of sunsetting of SNAP benefits, to the claim that thereby impoverished Americans are going to start dropping like flies. So without the equivocation, okay, without taking my claim and making it something that it isn't, let's listen very closely here to what I'm actually saying. What I'm actually saying is that there will be more Americans that do starve to death because we're sunsetting SNAP benefits. The reason why I believe this is very clear, okay? One source of evidence for this claim would be empirical evidence, all right? Okay, the closer you are to proximity of poverty or in poverty, the more likely you are to die via a lack of resources, particularly food, water, healthcare, etc. All right? And we know he left. You know, he left. So, okay, that was the first fleshed out conversation that we've had with a Trump supporter about the big, beautiful bill passing. The reduction of that conversation was an old, decrepit man with no empathy and zero brain cells that didn't know how to debate intellectually because he's not an intellectual. He literally has no faculties of reason, fact, or logic. That had it was only tool in the toolbox in this debate format was to take what I said, equivocate it, explode it, and make it sound crazy with no actual rebuttal. Okay, but when I force these people to say, when I force them to listen to the actual words that come out of my mouth in a very calm demeanor, and I give them my argument, what do? They run away, okay? So everybody, this is MAGA. This is MAGA. This is the state of the right. Lie, deny, lie, deny, lie, deny, lie, deny. And as soon as somebody is capable of calling them out on their BS, calling them out of their lies, and making it clear, what do? They run. So if you're watching this live and you're a Trump supporter, are you sure that you want to be associated with these people? Because I want to make it clear, I'm sure that there's plenty Trump supporters out there that are just simply misinformed. There's plenty of Trump supporters out there that are just simply ignorant. There's plenty of Trump supporters out there that have listened to the man on the TV. I mean, when I watched Mike Johnson give his closing speech before the big, beautiful bill passed through the House not even an hour ago, he said that this was going to reduce the debt, reduce the deficit, and actually make those social safety nets such as food stamps or healthcare stronger. So I could totally get how somebody could be watching the TV, hear that, believe it basically, because it's the literal Speaker of the House, and then still be MAGA. But what I'm trying to do here is prove to you that that's wrong. And the moment I do, I mean, I'd really appreciate it if your takeaway would be, okay, I can't support this bill. Instead of your takeaway being, shit, I'm going to continue to support this bill no matter what. Now it's going to get that next guest up in here. Everyone just be patient while we get that next guest up in here. Eduardo, thank you for the $20 over on PayPal. Eduardo says, I cannot fathom how entertaining and comforting your live streams are to watch. Thank you for entertaining and educating me. Thank you for the love, Eduardo. Guys, show some love to Eduardo down below. As well as Bethany, thank you so much for the $5 over on Venmo. That is incredibly kind of you. Tara with a 5. And then Nina, thank you for the $25 over on Venmo. Let's get 250 Nina W's. Nina says, I'm heartbroken that bill just passed. I genuinely don't know what I'm going to do. Yeah, Nina, it's a very terrible bill that is going to hurt millions of us. As well as Sophie, thank you for the $5 on Venmo, and Wesley with the 8. You guys are so incredibly kind. Thank you so much. What is going on in the bearded? Do you support Trump?
I voted for Trump, yes.
Do you still support him today?
Less than I did, but I support him over the other options.
All right, man. Why?
I am a conservative libertarian, and based on what I was listening to with your previous debate, I will come out and straight up say that taxation is theft. I don't believe that we should be taxed at all to fund other people. I don't think that that's freedom.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm going to go ahead and combat this in a very easy way because I'm familiar with what it means to be a libertarian. In fact, I was one for a while. Now, if taxation is theft, well, this bill is going to introduce more theft upon more people, nominally speaking, by increasing the taxes on everybody making at or under $51,000 per year. And that fact alone should make this bill stick out as a bill that you don't agree with because it is anti-libertarian.
Oh, this bill is trash. I don't agree with it.
Right. Any libertarian shouldn't support that bill. And then also, like about the libertarian view. Well, the libertarian view also doesn't like a ballooning debt and deficit because that's not just theft. That's then spending a bunch of money that they stole on crazy shit. And this bill is single-handedly the most expensive bill that has ever been passed through the American Congress. And libertarians also don't support restrictions on the market. Donald Trump has placed the most restrictions on the market out of any president in modern American history with his tariffs and with his mass deportation.
Good. Can you explain why mass deportation has an impact on that?
Yeah, sure, because it's a restriction on the free flow of labor entry into the market. You as a libertarian shouldn't really support that.
Well, as a contractor, there has been some impact to labor, but based on what I've seen in our company is the labor is replaced. Americans are looking for work too.
Wait, but this doesn't matter. Like, even if what you're saying is true, which it isn't, it doesn't matter. The reason why I say it doesn't matter is because you're a libertarian. You think that the ultimate function of our government should be is to protect the negative rights of citizens and to protect like a laissez faire free market capitalist society, right?
Correct.
Okay, all right. Well, a laissez faire free market society doesn't include border restriction and doesn't include mass deportation, because those are restrictions on the market. So you should not like border restrictions and you shouldn't like deportation.
I guess I'm still not putting that together, because deporting people that aren't supposed to be here, right?
Okay, are you just like a quasi-libertarian? Like, you just call yourself a libertarian because you see people say that on like the internet, not really because you've like studied economic theory?
No, I am. I've been a libertarian since I was 18. I'm 35 years old.
Okay, who's your favorite libertarian social and political philosopher?
I don't have one.
See, that's the issue. So you haven't like read the academia. Now, I'm not saying that this is like a big problem, but I am saying it's a problem as it relates to like what you call yourself and what you call yourself means, right? And I mean, like actually the reason why I'm so adamant about this is because I was a libertarian for a long time, not because it was like socially popular or anything, but because I studied the theory and I thought that I liked the theory, and I studied the theory by reading academia and listening to like more predominant libertarian social and political philosophers. And like the reduction of the libertarian worldview, which is most typically held, because you could be like an anarchist libertarian, which means that you don't think there should be any state and everything should be governed by the free market, and like how the market produces better outcomes than like monopolies, and like the government is a monopoly and all that shit. But the more popular view of libertarianism is some like minimal government that protects the negative rights of those within the country, with no restrictions, or at least as little restrictions on the market as possible. But when we restrict the flow of immigration into America and we deport undocumented immigrants, that is placing a restriction on the market, particularly a restriction of the labor entry into the market. And for that reason, border security and mass deportation is in strong contradiction to the libertarian worldview, because you're no longer supporting the market controlling the market controlling like the functions of the society, but you're rather supporting the monopoly or the government controlling the functions of society. So that is a view that is adjacent to libertarianism.
I mean, I see your point. And let me just preface that yes, I haven't studied libertarianism. I have libertarian friends that we are all in agreement that the government sucks in all aspects and don't want any sort of government control.
Yeah, that's not all that libertarianism is. So like libertarian professors, philosophers, and economists, like, just to give you a little bit of insight, they're generally pro-choice, they're anti-border, just no borders, they're anti-deportation, just no deportation, alongside a lot of other things. But like those beliefs that I just listed out there are like very typical amongst
I agree. Most libertarians are pro-choice. I am not pro-choice because I have a different belief on that, but that's not for this conversation. But most of the other stuff I align with libertarians on. No taxation. I believe that it's some sort of slavery, that I'm being forced to pay the government money to fund other people that are not willing to work. Or I believe that there is some aspect in a moral stance that people who have serious medical conditions and cannot work for whatever reason, disabilities, that yes, there should be an avenue for people like that. But I feel the mass majority of people are taking advantage of the system.
Do you feel like you're a slave because you have to pay taxes and some of that tax money goes to funding firefighters?
Absolutely.
Do you feel like a slave because you have to pay taxes and some of that money goes to food banks for homeless youth?
100%.
Yeah. Wow. So do you feel like a slave because you pay taxes and some of the money that you pay in taxes goes to like building roads that you drive on?
Yeah, I'd rather pay tolls.
Yeah, what about like the public infrastructure and the subsidies that is paid for laying the pipes for the sewer, for laying the pipes for the sewer that gives you and takes out clean and dirty water from your household?
So here, let me go into that.
So what's your alternative to the police? Because you're anti-police too, okay? You think that you're a slave of the police because you have to work and pay taxes that funds them. So you hate the police. They're your captors. So
what you're talking
right?
about,
you're very
taxes.
anti-police.
We're talking
right?
about federal versus state tax. So police are funded by state taxes, right?
Okay, well, I mean, the state is still unjustly taking like coercing you to work to live and taking a portion of your pay stub every week or so.
Well, I'm in Florida, so there's no state income tax, but there's other taxes.
Okay. Well, like regardless of what that tax is, it's still unjust, coercive, and it makes you a slave, right? So
right, but you vote for this at a state level.
So you hate the police, right?
You vote for this at a state level. I'm not talking about state taxes. I'm talking about federal taxes.
Wait, so then why do you think that federal taxes make you a slave, but state taxes don't?
Because there is nothing that I am benefiting from federal taxes.
Oh my God. Okay, so you've obviously not done your research in the literature whatsoever. If your claim is that paying taxes makes you a slave because you don't benefit from the taxes that you pay to the federal government, well, I could just refute that very simply by saying that you do. Have you ever drove on the interstate?
Yes, I have driven on the interstate, but I've also paid.
Guess what? You benefit from
tolls.
you benefit.
I paid tolls
okay,
on. I pay tolls every day on the interstate.
Dude, there's some toll roads. There's some also no. The interstate doesn't include tolls, unless like you're gonna be in like an HOV lane, etc. But the interstate generally doesn't include tolls. Now, I will
Florida,
also clarify
tolls
this.
everywhere.
Who builds and pays for the interstates?
The government.
Which one?
Yeah, I understand where you're going. The federal government.
You benefit from the tax dollars you pay to the federal government.
Yeah,
I have a question. Did you go to public school?
I'm still. It's not like a cutoff where we built the road and now I'm driving on a newly furnished road that they were paid off in a fucking week by everybody that has paid taxes at that point, and we continue to pay and pay tolls on top of it.
And you continue to drive on the road, and the tolls, that's managed by the state, buddy. Blame Florida. Oh, then something else. When you grew up, did you go to public school?
I did, but I don't.
You benefited from the taxes that you paid to the federal government. If you ever plan on having kids, do you plan on sending them to public school?
I have kids.
Do they go to public school?
No, they're going to private school.
They're going to private school. Okay, well, if there wasn't a private school in your school district, would you send them to public school?
No.
You'd homeschool them?
Yes.
You'd homeschool them. And would that be subsidized by tax credits from the federal government? Yep. So in other words, you benefit from the federal government.
Well, that's like bullshit. If I want to homeschool my kids, then I shouldn't have to pay anything. Right?
Yeah, man. Well, okay, listen. Honestly, here's what I'm going to recommend to you. So the libertarian argument that like if you like that being a taxpayer is like modern day slavery. So the argument for that isn't like this idea that you don't benefit off the tax dollars that you pay. It's a little bit more complex than that. And by the way, at the end of the day, it's a shitty argument. It's also like, I don't know. I just hate that one. That's actually one of the main reasons why I didn't stay a libertarian, because I could never concede that like paying taxes was like equivalent to modern day slavery. But I will say it is a very popular argument amongst libertarians. It's just a little crazy. But you're actually not purporting that argument right now. And here's what I'll recommend to you. I'm going to move on to the next guest, but please do your research on libertarianism, because you just don't know like, anything about it realistically. Like you didn't know that like, immigration enforcement is going to be, like a restriction on the labor entry into the market. You think the argument that, you know, you're modern day slave because you pay taxes is because you don't benefit off the taxes. No, the argument is something more along the lines of how you're like coercively forced into working, because if you didn't work, well, then you'd have to live in the middle of the woods, which is impractical and unfeasible. And you're also forcibly or coercively not forcibly coerced into paying taxes off the money that you make when you work, because if you didn't want to have to pay the taxes, you'd literally have to move to Antarctica, some shit like that. And thereby, because you're coerced to work and coerced to pay taxes into the money that you make off the work, well, then we're going to see like some reflection of slavery. So that's going to be like an informal argument for like the whole modern day slavery under libertarianism thing. You obviously didn't say that. You just said it's because you don't benefit off the taxes that you pay to the federal government, even though you do. So I just think that you need to do your research, man.
Fair enough.
All right, man. Have a good rest of your day. But seriously, even you as a libertarian shouldn't support Trump, because he's making the average American pay more in taxes. So he's literally stealing from more people. And he's spending a whole lot of money, typically a higher debt. in a non-libertarian world, in a non-libertarian society such as the one that we live in, is going to be in closer proximity to beliefs that you disagree with, further away from the ones that you do. And then also, like the mass deportation and the border security, that's all going to be restrictions on the free market. So something you should definitely not support. But let's go to move on to the next guest. We got Lisa loading up, everybody. Do be patient while we get that next guest in here. While we are loading the next guest in here real quick, Sophie, thank you so much for the $50 over at Venmo. That is SOFI. Sophie says, cheers to you for having patience of debating racist, uneducated, brainless people. Sophie, I appreciate you for that love. Show some love to Sophie down below in that chat. As well as Emma, thank you for the $5 over at Venmo. That is incredibly kind of you. And Desta, thank you for the $5 as well. They saying, I'm so scared I'm battling cancer and depend on disability and Medicaid. Oh, Desta. Desta... I'm gonna do some research into exactly who's going to be losing their benefits, and I'm gonna get back to you with that. So at least you'll know if you are or aren't. I mean, that anxiety must be crippling. I'm so sorry, Desta. As well as Sawyer, thank you for the $10 over on PayPal. Sawyer says, how can I go about educating people and having productive conversations against MAGA like you do? Being level-headed, trying to keep your cool, and just reporting the facts. As well as Crystal, thank you for the $5 over on PayPal, saying, I'm from Florida. Smart Money says if this guy's a contractor, he scams insurance. Probably. Thank you for the love, Crystal. Let's go to get that next debate going here. What's up, Lisa?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to come up, Dean, but I do love you. Keep going. Kick me.
Appreciate you for the love, Lisa. All right, moving on to the next guest. Trace, thank you so much for the $5 over on Venmo. Trace, that is incredibly kind of you. Let's go to get the next guest. Justin, loaded up in the box. If you're watching and you like to support me, support the stream and so on, you can buy my Venmo, my PayPal, and the BIO. Get 100% of the proceeds on those on those places. They'll go straight to me, as well as you could get a notification at the top of my phone screen where I could shout you out and thank you for your kindness. But let's go to get that next guest bearded debate up in the box right now for a conversation, quite frankly. What's going on, man? You support Trump?
No, I just have one quick question, if you wouldn't mind.
Unfortunately, we are just looking for Trump supporters, so I'm going to go and kick him in, but I hope you have a good rest of your day. All right, moving on. Here we go, everybody. We got Ashton loading in. Kat, thank you for the for the $10 over on Super Chat, saying thank you for being a voice of reason and raising the level of critical thought and political discourse. Thank you, Kat. Show some love to Kat for the kind donation in the message. And then also, while we're loading Avery W up, he's the next guest, I'd also like to quickly thank Lupin for the $5 over on Venmo, saying it looks like the House just passed a BBB side. Thank you for all that you do, Dean. Yep, that was just passed. Very sad day for America. Welcome in, Avery. Do you support Trump? I just heard the Discord notification go off in the background. I obviously know that you're here. Okay, I guess they're gone. Okay, I actually want to load up this guest real quick. They're not a Trump supporter. They don't know that I know who they are, but I do know who they are. Please load in. Little Rat Dismo, please load into the box. Please load in. No. So this person that I'm trying to get to load into the stream right now has dedicated their life to spamming in the comment section of all of my videos that I'm like a Zionist genocide defender. I would love to talk to them. I really hope that they load in. It doesn't look like they are. Fuck. Yeah, they left. God damn it. God dang it. That makes me really sad. Oh, well. I was really looking forward to chatting with him. Let's go to get that next guest baseball up in the box. Everyone just do be patient. David, thank you so much for the $10 over on Venmo, saying, can you talk about Alligator Alcatraz? Yeah, man. Alligator Alcatraz kind of got overshadowed by the BBB, but I still do obviously agree that it deserves to be discussed. And thank you for the $10. Yeah, that's literally like a detention camp for undocumented immigrants. And like the Trump administration is making jokes about how they're going to be eaten by the alligators, and then you have like Laura Loomer saying that we're going to feed all Latino people in this country to alligators. It's fucking insane, bro. What's up, baseball? How do you? Okay, that's just a kid. Guys, it is super hard to find anybody to debate. This is unreal. Can we only hop in the queue if you're an American adult that supports Trump and you want to debate? Please, 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 please. You know, just so. What's up? You support Trump?
Hello?
Hey, man. You support Trump?
I don't, but you're the best.
Appreciate that, Dallin. Don't join in the queue. If you cannot tell, we're having a lot of issues trying to get debates going. And Sandra, thank you for the $10 over at Venmo, saying my daughter starts college next year. I'm worried about that she won't be able to get a Pell Grant. Yes, Sandra, you got to look out for that one. There's still a chance that she will qualify, but it's just been reduced. Thank you for the $10, and I really do hope that she qualifies. What's up, hotmom.com? Do you support Trump?
Yes, I do.
And how old are you?
I'm 18.
What year were you born
Don't look at my
in?
page. I sound young, but I'm not.
What year were you born in?
2005.
Well, I don't even know if that's possible. No, that's not even possible. Why are you lying?
Ah!
What are we doing, guys? Okay, moving on to Jolene. Yellow, thank you for the $10 over on Super Chat. Yellow says, you're helping flip those chairs to blue for midterms. Thank you for the hard work and spreading the truth and not lies. Yeah, honestly, that is my goal right now. Like, the overall goal of these streams right now is to try to help flip the midterms. I appreciate you for the kindness, Yellow. What's up, Jolene? Do you support Trump?
I do not, but my boyfriend does, and I'm trying to get his views on abortion to change because
are you with your boyfriend right now?
No, he is at work currently, but he is in the...
Jolene, got to re-request when he's with you. I'd love to talk to him. Moving on to the next guest. Please follow the rules. Every single person I've loaded up from the queue has just been not following the rules. What are we doing? Chris, what's up? You support Trump? Oh, dear Lord. Oh, my goodness. What's up, Big Money? You support Trump? Fuck it. This is great. Oh, man. This is just so good. This is so good, dude. These conversations are killer today, man. Like, we're really just exploring truth today. Isn't that right? We are truly just exploring truth. This is awesomeness.
Join. I got it.
That's a child. Dude! Okay. 3 rules. Oh, no. Gotta be an American citizen that supports Trump, that is ready and willing to come up here and debate me on why you support Trump. Okay? It's that fucking simple. Okay? When you guys don't follow the rules, it just completely makes the stream useless. It's just... Oh my goodness. Let's go to get that next guest Jason up in here, y'all. Oh my goodness gracious. Unbelievable. Unbelievable with what's going on today, everybody. Hopefully Ben Harris is following the rules. What's the over-under on Ben Harris following the rules? Ben Harris, are you following the rules?
Cookie King fucking mogs you, bro.
You're not following the rules, Ben. Very bad, Ben. Very bad. What about JT? Is JT following the rules? Hi, JT. Are you following the rules?
Yeah.
No, you're not. That's a kid. So he wasn't following the rules. What about a tool? Is a tool following the rules? Let's go and get him up here. Is a tool following the rules, everybody? What's up?
Hello?
How old are you?
I'm 18.
Yeah. What year are you born in?
I'm born in 2006.
What month?
October 15.
Okay. All right. And do you support Trump?
I'm an independent, if that's all right with you. I support some aspects of his policies, not all, but yeah, some.
Overall, do you think that the country would be better off or worse off if Kamala Harris won?
That's difficult to say. I wanted to see.
Okay, guys. This is getting just like insane at this point. This is getting just unreal. What's up, Sam? Are you following the rules? How old are you? So much wasted time. So much wasted time. Sam, are you even here? No. No, Sam's not even here. This is the shit that makes me want to quit. I just feel like my time could be better spent elsewhere.
Hello?
Hey, what's up, Mo? Are you following the rules? How old are you?
Yes, I am.
How old are you?
I'm 18.
Oh my god. What year are you born in?
What?
What year are you born in?
2007.
What month?
January.
Born in January of 07.
Hold on 1 second.
Okay. And do you support Trump?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Why do you support Trump?
Because under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, 100,000 people in the Gaza Strip died.
Kamala is how you pronounce her name.
Regardless, under their administration, 100,000 innocent people in the Gaza Strip were murdered.
I don't know if even like the Gaza Health Ministry says that. But I mean, I get what you're saying nonetheless. Do you think that Donald Trump is better or worse for the people in Gaza?
I think that under Donald Trump, we haven't had as many people die than, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden.
All right. I mean, that makes sense because he's only 160 days into his term. That's not the question that I asked, though. Do you think his policy is better or worse for the people living in Gaza than the policy of the last administration?
Both policies have been bad, but I do think that Trump's policy has been a little bit better because he's actually putting a ceasefire that's about to go into place. He has a food program that's going into place as well.
Yeah.
So overall, I do think it's better.
Okay. Well, I mean, obviously you're not actually pro-Palestine, because if you were pro-Palestine, then you know that that food program is paid for by Israel, and they have American troops out there that are shooting loaded guns with bullets at the starving Palestinians trying to get food from said food program, while also throwing smoke grenades and stun grenades at them.
Are you a Zionist?
No, if anything, aren't you the Zionist? Because you're the one that just told us that you support a program that's leading to dead Palestinians and smoke grenades, tear gas, and stun grenades being thrown at innocent Palestinians.
Does Israel have the right to exist?
This broke on AP today, by the way. So
does Israel have the right to exist?
I'll answer your questions after you answer mine. Can you please respond to what I just said about the food program that you brought up? And then also about the ceasefire. Well, I mean, Israel is notoriously bad at breaking ceasefires. They broke the ceasefire negotiated under the Biden administration. They broke the ceasefire with Iran, then lied about Iran breaking said ceasefire agreement. And then as it relates to material policy, I mean, that we have Donald Trump on record, A, saying that he doesn't support humanitarian aid to Palestinians. And B, like, I mean, he literally launched and announced an initiative to ethnically cleanse every remaining Palestinian on the Gaza Strip. I mean, how do you feel about the fact that Donald Trump has said that he wants to personally and forcefully relocate every single Palestinian on the Gaza Strip to Jordan and Egypt against their will without their consent, which would constitute ethnic cleansing. And then he wants to take that land, level it all, build a Riviera, and then give it to the state of Israel, violating the Palestinian individuals' right to self-determination and right to land, and then giving the Palestinians no right to return.
Yeah, that's all true. But how is like Joe Biden different than that?
Well, I mean, let's look at Kamala Harris. I agree that she's pro-Israel. She just didn't personally want to ethnically cleanse the strip for them. She supported some restrictions on weapons shipments and also some humanitarian aid to the Palestinians. So that ultimately amounts in less material harm than the policy of Trump. We could agree that they're both bad, but obviously, if you truly care about the Palestinians on the Gaza Strip, well, then you wouldn't say that you should support the lesser of two evils. I find that to be A, incredibly inconsiderate of the lives of the Palestinians. And B, it just ultimately amounts to this forced virtue signal that just leads to more material harm against Palestinians. I think that the most based acknowledgement is to say that both candidates were bad as it related to this. However, you're obviously going to want to support the lesser of two evils and not support the worst of two evils because you don't support.
I don't like the mentality. But you have to understand that we don't want to reward.
He left. That was a really bad time to leave because I have one hand on my glass and one hand in the air, so you couldn't even accuse me of kicking you. What a very shitty time for him to leave and run away when I had both hands in frame. What a terrible time to leave. Moving on to the next guest. He even said in the chat, whoa, he just said it in the chat. He just said it in the chat that he didn't leave. Everybody look at Mo and laugh. Oh no, he just said it in the chat that he didn't leave. What a terrible time to do that to yourself, Mo. You just so happened to leave the moment I had one hand sitting like this and the other hand sitting taking a drink of my water. We're gonna go ahead and move on to the next guest. Everybody give us a minute to get that next guest up in the box, y'all. Sorry, TikTok just wants me to verify that I'm active. They do that every so often. We're gonna get that next guest, James Lockman, loading into the box. Here we go, y'all. Everybody just be patient while we get that next guest up in here. Thank you so much for the fireworks, as well as Taylor with the $10 over on YouTube Super Chat. Thank you so much. And yeah, we'll be talking about the BBB all day long. Okay, who is the next Trump supporter? We've been live for an hour and we've had what? One conversation? The Trump supporters are scared. Let's see here. Misty, thank you for the $5 over on Venmo. Appreciate you so much. As well as Karen. Oh my God, Karen, thank you for the $100 donation over on Venmo for not booting people, bro. Dude, I want to see at least 1,000 Karen W's down below in that comment section. Karen, that is so much fucking money. Thank you so much, Karen. That is incredibly thoughtful of you. Let's get 1,000 Karen W's down below, literally right now. Thank you. 1,000 Karen W's down below, as well as M added with a $5 over on PayPal and Dominic with a $2 over on Venmo. Show some love to Karen down below. And what is going on, baby? Do you support Trump?
Can you listen to me?
Can I listen to you? Well, as long as you're an
Yeah,
American,
okay.
as long as you're an American adult that supports Trump, yeah. Are you an American adult that supports Trump?
Adult. I'm not American, but don't kick me. I just.
Bruh, dude, it's been an hour of this shit, guys. Everybody, it has been an hour of this. This is getting unreal. Am I gonna waste my full 4-hour stream on this shit right here? Like, guys, I really don't want to do that, and I don't think that anybody watching wants that to happen either. Can we agree there? Like, let's just actually try to leave the purpose of this stream
Hey,
for
Charlie
what it's
Kirk
intended
owns
as.
you.
Ow, Jack, I have a crystal ball. My crystal ball is telling me that you're going to say Charlie Kirk owns me, and then you're just going to leave.
He debates you all the time. You're scared of him.
How many times have I debated him?
Once.
But he debates me all the time?
You just cut the line. Like, he can't just let you cut the line.
Oh, I cut the line? Where?
At his colleges.
As colleges? Which one?
Texas A&M.
Texas A&M. And how do you know that I, quote-unquote, cut the line at Texas A&M?
Because he said?
Because Charlie Kirk said so. You know what Charlie Kirk didn't tell you?
I mean, do you want to actually debate?
What Charlie Kirk didn't tell you is that I was there 3 hours early and I was the first person in line. Silly goose. Come on, bro. Calm down, G. Calm down, G. Come on. You're brainwashed. Let's get real. Let's get real.
Want to debate?
How old are you?
18.
What year were you born in, bud?
2006.
What month?
December.
Damn, you actually are 18. What a sad day for the future of this country, young Americans. Oh, good lord.
Wow.
Sure. Nah, man. Let's debate. Take it away. Why do you support this tyrannical president that is destroying this country?
I'm just wondering how you can like kill babies, like abortion. Like it's just like I don't know how you can support that.
Oh, yeah, because I'm such a communist lunatic, and I love killing babies to drain them of their adrenochrome to keep myself youthful till the day I die. Misty, thank you so much for the $20 over on Venmo. Guys, show some love to Misty down below in that chat.
I mean, what do you think about him like stopping like 3 wars?
Let's dude, we're getting all the talking points. Misty says, "Thank you for everything that you can do to wake people up, owning them with superior intelligence every time." Thank you, Misty. I love you. Let's show some love to Misty down below in that chat. So, what wars has he stopped?
Congo and Rwanda.
Oh, okay. Go ahead and tell me a little bit about what he did for Congo and Rwanda.
He just got a 60-day ceasefire.
Between
That's
who?
what I heard. Huh?
Between who?
Congo and Rwanda.
Between Rwandan troops and individuals in the Congo. Maybe you don't know this because you're just not informed. But the main aggressor of the genocide of the Congo of individuals in the Congo isn't the actual Rwandan troops, but it's the militant groups that Rwanda is paying and funding, such as M23. So M23 is a militant group, boots on the ground in Congo, funded by Rwanda. And as a part of the ceasefire agreement, they did not achieve a ceasefire with M23. And they also have Ugandan troops that are also funded by Rwanda, boots on the ground in the Congo, genociding individuals from the Congo to steal their resources. And another part of this agreement that you didn't know about is that it actually gave resource rights to America in Congo. And the only reason why the Congo agreed is because they've been getting fucking genocided for the last 30 years. They've had tens of millions of people die, and they want any reduction in the level of harm being caused onto them. So even though it only reduced a very small level of harm by drawing back the Rwandan troops, not M23 or Ugandan troops, and it gave more resource rights away from what belongs to them to the U.S., they still agreed to it because of minimal amounts of harm reduction. But how can you sit here and tell me that coercing the Congo into giving up resource rights to not end a genocide, but slightly alleviate it by removing some troops is going to be a good thing that we should consider an accomplishment?
I mean, it's better than nothing, you know, because Biden hasn't really like done anything about that conflict compared to like Trump.
The reason I don't think it's better than nothing is because now Rwanda is just diverting more funding into M23 and Ugandan troops, and it's just further exploiting this country that has been exploited for so long for more resource and mineral rights. That's not better than anything. It's literal fucking coercement to steal more resources from a country that's being genocided.
So what do you think about Gaza and Israel? his ceasefire on that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, there's a ceasefire agreement achieved at the end of Biden's term, and if you care so much about a ceasefire between the country, then you should hate Trump because the only reason why that ceasefire agreement was achieved after the election is because Donald Trump violated the Logan Act, asking Bibi or Netanyahu to hold off until after the election to accept the ceasefire. But obviously the ceasefires don't hold. Netanyahu violated the first one, and then Netanyahu violated the ceasefire agreement with Iran. So I'm sure that Netanyahu will also violate this one.
I mean, he kind of had to violate it because Iran was continuing to make nuclear weapons, and they were enriching uranium.
Iran was continuing to develop nuclear weapons. It wasn't a part of the ceasefire to stop developing nuclear weapons. And B, he didn't have to violate a ceasefire. You were just justifying the aggressor aggressing. And C, do you think it's a bad thing for Iran to develop nuclear weapons?
Yeah.
How bad?
Probably 10, because it's kind of I'll just say I don't know if I can say this on live, but it's kind of giving the mustache man a nuke.
Okay, if a president gave Hitler a nuke, do you think that president should be thrown out?
Yeah.
If a president greenlit Hitler to further their development of nukes, do you think that president should be thrown out?
I mean, what do you mean?
If a president greenlit Nazi Germany to continue developing nuclear weapons, should that president be impeached?
Probably.
Okay. So because you think it's like giving Hitler a nuke, you'd say if a president greenlit Iran and their further development of nuclear weapons, you'd say that president should be impeached, right?
Yeah.
So Donald Trump greenlit Iran to further the development of nuclear weapons when he pulled us out of the JCPOA, which was a denuclearization agreement that we had signed with the country in 2018 for 3 years. For the whole time,
he pulled out because Iran wasn't complying with the. Iran wasn't complying because they still kept enriching uranium and developing nuclear weapons.
You know that's just false propaganda, right?
I mean, I saw it on Fox News.
Yeah, they're actually not legally considered a news station. They're entertainment now because they lost a lawsuit for close.
By who?
By the American government. And do you want to know how we know that that the Iran wasn't developing nuclear weapons when we had that agreement signed? Do you want to know how we know that for sure?
Yep.
Because a part of the agreement was to give the IAEA, which is an international nuclear watchdog, 24/7 surveillance access to all of their nuclear facilities with 500 in-person visits per year. The IAEA had this oversight on all of their facilities in person and through the surveillance cameras for the whole 3 years the agreement was signed. They reported 0 infractions/violations. Yeah. So what's your evidence that they did violate it? Because I'm guessing it must be incredibly compelling to refute what the IAEA, which was an oversight committee appointed by the EU and the UN and America.
Because the United Atomic Group, they go there and they check if the nuclear facilities, and it was pretty clear they're still making nukes.
If it was pretty clear that they're still making nukes, how come that nuclear watchdog that was checking the facilities didn't say that they were still making nukes?
Because the uranium is only at 60%.
You have no clue what you're talking about. It wasn't at 60% when the deal was signed into law. That was actually
Okay,
the
what
development
is it
from
at
2023.
What is it at then?
It was lower than that, and which would be sufficient to develop nuclear weapons, and that was what was reported by the IAEA. But keep in mind, I actually asked you what your evidence was that they violated the agreement, and you just said it was pretty clear that they violated the agreement, even though all evidence would indicate otherwise. So could you please be very specific? What was the evidence that they violated the agreement?
Like I said, the United Atomic Group, they went there and they checked.
United Atomic Group isn't a thing. Do you mean the IAEA?
Oh, what does that stand for?
The IAEA? What does that stand for?
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. That stands for the International Atomic Energy Agency.
So the IAEA, they went there and they checked, and Iran was still enriching uranium to 90%.
Yeah, so why are you lying?
I'm not.
The IAEA is what I was just talking about. That was the group that reported 0 infractions for the totality of the agreement being signed into law. Also, not to mention that Trump reaffirmed their findings twice.
I just don't think that's true.
Do you want a source?
I mean, yeah, since you ask everyone else for sources, I would like a source.
For fucking sure. Okay, great. Let's see everybody. I have a feeling that this guy's going to leave because his mic just went away. In the meantime, guys, make sure that we are double tapping away in that phone screen, y'all. Make sure that we are double tapping away in that phone screen, everybody. Phenomenal. Great. So this is going to be coming from the Arms Control Association. If you go on Google and you type in arms control and proliferation profile Iran, it'll talk about how the IAEA did an investigation and had oversight for the 3 years the agreement was signed into law and found no direct violations of the JCPOA as it related to continuing their development of nuclear weapons. And then you could also find this from 2018 from the Arms Control Association as well. Just type into Google Arms Control Association. IAEA reports confirms Iran's compliance with the JCPOA. In fact, you could even read this quarterly report for yourself on IAEA.org. So if you just go to Google, you type in IAEA.org, verification and monitoring of the Islamic Republic of Iran in light of the United Nations Security Council Resolution 2231. This is a report extending from 2015 until 2018, where they reported 0 violations in 3 years. If you'd like the summary of this, just go down to point number 27, or F, which states the agency continues to verify the diversification of declared nuclear material at the nuclear facilities and locations outside facilities where nuclear material is customarily used, declared by Iran under its safeguards agreement. Evaluations regarding the absence of undeclared nuclear material and activities for Iran remained ongoing.
I said look it up on Google.
Yeah, so I just gave you the source from IAEA.org, and then I even read off to you the summary. Now he's gone. Somebody in the chat said, is this guy reading ChatGPT? No, I was reading IAEA.org. So I gave you my source. What's yours?
I already said my source.
No, you didn't.
Fox News.
Fox News is the name of an organization. That's not a source.
So if I go on their website and read something, that's just not a source.
You have to be able to tell me what the name of the article is and where the evidence comes from. But I want to... Wait. Actually, you said that ultimately what Fox News was reporting was reported infractions from the IAEA, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
that's
well, I just read you off of IAEA.org where they said there were 0 infractions.
I mean, that website's kind of like left-wing, so...
Bro, it's the IAEA's own website. What do you mean? You just told me that your claim to justify that Iran violated the agreement is that the IAEA said so, right?
Yeah, I think that's what I said.
So I proved that wrong by telling you that the IAEA didn't say so, and I give you a source from IAEA.org, and then your response is to say, well, the IAEA is left-wing?
I mean, it is. It's proven.
What is this mental discombobulation? You are the one that originally cited the IAEA. That was you. You said that they reported infractions, and that is your evidence to believe that they violated the JCPOA. I just simply clarified that they didn't report infractions, and then all of a sudden the IAEA's meaningless left-wing liberal propaganda. You've completely lost it.
How about we talk about immigration?
As long as, after you could address what I just said, sure, bud. This has to be rage bait. If you're serious, like, I'm seriously concerned about the future of this country. Like, come on, just tell me that you're not serious and just tell me that, like, you're just trying to rage bait for fun.
I'm not trying to rage bait. I mean, I could change my vote for 2028. I don't know, but like,
if you're not trying to rage bait, then explain to me how you think that the IAEA was apparently a reliable source when you said they reported infractions, but then as soon as I correct you and I give you a quote from IAEA.org that says otherwise, you say they're unreliable because they're liberal propaganda.
I mean, I agree with you. That might be true, but I mean, they were still developing nukes. Like, what do you think their program was doing if, like, it wasn't?
Wait. If we don't have evidence from the IAEA, then who do we have evidence from? Because keep in mind, it was the
Israel.
IAEA, in which was the enforcing arm in surveillance oversight to see what they to see their uranium enrichment levels and if they were developing nuclear weapons. And the IAEA was approved by the UN, was approved by the EU, and was approved by America, not just under Obama, but under Donald Trump twice. So, like the one organization, the one body tasked with surveillance of their nuclear development, so there's no violations. This was approved by Republicans and Democrats in this country and approved by the UN and the EU. Okay, so if they didn't report that they weren't developing nuclear weapons, then they weren't developing nuclear weapons.
So their nuclear programs were just not doing anything. Is that what you're saying?
No, their nuclear programs were doing things such as developing nuclear energy to be used to, power the power grid, or enrich uranium for X-rays, MRIs.
Do you think it was just peaceful?
Etc.
It was just a peaceful program.
Yes, precisely.
All right. So do you want to talk about immigration now?
After you concede that Donald Trump should be impeached because he greenlit Iran to develop nuclear weapons by pulling us out of the JCPOA with no reason.
I mean, I don't think he should be impeached because as the president, you kind of have the authority to do that.
Wait, but you literally said earlier that any president that does this should be impeached, and it was like giving nukes to Hitler. So why are you walking back on the claim now?
Also said that because Hillary Clinton she also said if Iran was going to get a nuke, she would obliterate them.
I don't know why you're pivoting to Hillary Clinton. I want you to answer directly to what you said earlier. Earlier, you said that if a president greenlit Iran to build nuclear weapons, they should be impeached. Did you say that, or did you not say that?
I didn't say it myself, but you asked me a question,
and then you said yes, you agreed, correct?
Yeah, I did.
So earlier, you agreed that if a president greenlit them to develop nukes, they should be impeached. Okay. Well, Donald Trump greenlit them to build nukes, and he shouldn't be impeached. So why are you a hypocritical, spineless cultist?
I mean, I don't think he should be impeached because all the Americans that voted for him seem to disagree and seem to agree that he's a good president.
So you disagree that he greenlit Iran to develop nuclear weapons, even though he pulled us out of the agreement preventing them from developing nuclear weapons?
I mean, I wouldn't say like pulling out of like an agreement means like you like greenlight someone.
I would because that agreement essentially acts as like an enforceable international law because of the incentive structure of what would have occurred to the country if they were to have violated it. I feel like repealing a law preventing somebody from doing something is greenlighting them to do said thing. And I could give you an example. Imagine that you were like the governor of New York and you repealed a law preventing 18-year-olds from buying handguns, and then 18-year-olds started buying handguns. Did you greenlight those 18-year-olds to buy handguns?
I wouldn't say greenlight, but you're like allowing them to do it.
That's what greenlighting means, man.
What's the definition of greenlight?
To literally allow something or somebody to do something.
I mean, I feel like greenlighting is more of like advising someone to do something. It's not like just like the ability to do something.
Greenlighting literally just means an allowance. That's how we use the term. That's what it means. Like for instance, when you're driving and you literally see a green light telling you that you can go forward, are they advising you to go forward, or are they just allowing you to go forward?
I mean, like you don't have to go, but you can go if you want.
So they're
like
just a literal green light on the road is just allowing you to go forward, right?
Yeah.
So that means that the way that we use the term green light is just to allow something to occur.
So you're just against Trump bombing Iran?
I don't know. Why are you moving off? We just agreed that green lighting just means that you're allowing somebody to do something. Donald Trump allowed Iran to further their construction of nuclear weapons by pulling us out of a deal that prevented them from doing so, meaning that he green lighted Iran to further their construction of nuclear weapons.
I mean, he probably
agreed that a president should be impeached if they were to have green-lit Iran to further the construction of nuclear weapons. So you think that Donald Trump should be impeached in accordance with everything that we just agreed on. We agreed that removing quote-unquote law or pulling out of agreement would be allowing a person force in our country to continue to do the thing that the agreement prevented. We agreed that green lighting something or somebody is just allowing something or somebody to do something. And then we agreed that when he pulled us out of that agreement, it allowed Iran to further their construction of nuclear weapons, which means that Donald Trump greenlit Iran to furthering their construction of nuclear weapons. Trump was a president when he did that, and earlier you agreed that if a president did greenlight Iran into furthering their construction of nuclear weapons, that they should be impeached. The very obvious logical reduction of all this would be thereby you think that Donald Trump should be impeached. And if you reject this conclusion, then please tell me why, by either, just saying, well, I'm a hypocrite, Dean. Earlier when I told you that I think a president should be impeached for greenlighting Iran to further construction of their nuclear weapons, I meant any president but Trump because I'm a crazy hypocritical cultist. Or tell us that you don't think that he greenlit Iran to do so, and give a proper argument because I was just able to suggest an agreeable definition of greenlight, and I was able to draw an analogy between greenlight and Iran to continue the development of their nuclear weapons by pulling out of that agreement, just like a governor would be greenlighting 18-year-olds into buying handguns by revoking like a law in the state of New York that prevented them from doing so. And please answer to that right now.
I mean, there's probably more reasons for him pulling out of the agreement. He probably just didn't pull out of it for no reason. I mean, you even probably know there's probably reasons.
Yeah, the reason that he pulls out of the agreement is because it had Obama's signature on it.
That's definitely not the only reason he pulled out.
Okay, so you're basically saying that there's probably good reason to do it. You just don't know what that good reason was?
Yeah, basically.
Okay. Well, you'd have to actually be the one to provide that good reason. Oh, because you can't just assume something's true that you don't know to be true.
You want me to check?
Yeah, you have to be able to provide that good reason in order to hold to the claim, idiot. Like, come on. Like, if Donald Trump, just went out on a street in America and killed somebody, okay, would you say, well, there might have been good reason for why he did that? Maybe they had, a gun that they're getting ready to, shoot 10 people with?
I mean, yeah, what if it was, self-defense?
Or would you say, if, we
it was self-defense. Answer my question. And he killed someone because someone was attacking him.
But if this happened, 4 years ago, and we didn't have any evidence that it was self-defense, would you just basically assume that it was self-defense?
I mean, you can't assume it.
Okay, well, if you can't assume it, then why are you assuming that he had good reason to pull us out of the JCPOA? There he goes. There he goes. We've gotten him to the point of no return, everybody. We've gotten him to the point of no return. I gotta say, I love what I do. Guys, I love it so much. Just being able to demonstrate the hypocrisy in the MAGA cult so easily. I love it. I have the best job in the world. I love what I do so much. This is so fun. Wake up, Brother Jack. Wake up. You're a member of a cult. He left. So let's go to move on to the next guest. Here we go, everybody. Just do be patient. As well as Carol Lynn. Thank you for the $10 over at Venmo, saying don't forget to drink water. Appreciate you and your work. I appreciate that, Carolyn. And yep, I got a water with me right here. Everybody, show some love to Carolyn down below in that chat for the $10 donation. Thank you so much. As well as Mary with the $5. Thank you so much. Saying old people like me are watching. We need to stay engaged. I appreciate you for the love, Mary. As well as Stephanie. Thank you so much for the $20 over on Venmo. 12 minutes ago. Saying, Dean, I'm a medical auditor / educator in billing. 10 years of experience with 100 mil in metafraud recovery. If you ever need somebody to come up on the live and talk about these things, I'd love to. Dude, Stephanie, that's awesome. Please message me on Instagram. Thank you for the $20, Stephanie. Let's get 200 Stephanie W's down below, as well as 150 Aurora W's for the $15, saying, thank you for everything that you do for the trans community. I'm so scared of our affirming care is going to be taken away. Thank you. Or I appreciate you for being here, and thank you for the donation. As well as Danielle with the $20 on Venmo as well. Let's get 200 Danielle W's. Danielle says, fighting the good fight. Thank you for the love, Danielle. As well as this was 21 minutes ago, but thank you for the $20. Misty. Misty says, thank you for doing everything that you can to wake people up. Thank you for the love, Misty. You guys are so incredibly kind. I really appreciate everybody for your awesome and very kind donations over on Venmo and PayPal today. You guys have been so incredibly kind literally all day long. Thank you, thank you, thank you. As well as super duper quickly, I'd also like to thank, let's see here, Sadie for the $10 over on PayPal. Everybody show some love to Sadie down below in the comment section. Sadie says, Dean, you're amazing and keep up the amazing work. Thank you, Sadie. What is going on, Hunter? Do you support Trump?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, how old are you?
18.
And literally every guest that we've been today so far has been 18. Why do you think I could only find younger people to talk to? I want to talk to somebody that's a little bit more middle-aged. I guess, I don't know. I guess I'm not going to get that. What year were you born in?
2006.
Oh, yeah. What month, bud?
October 8th.
October 8th. All right. I'll give you a chance, man. I'll give you a chance. What the hell? Why do you support Trump?
All right. I wanted to talk about the border, deportation and stuff. Can I get your side on it?
Yeah, deportation is like a very terrible America last policy. Not only is it bad for the economy, it's also bad ethically, and it's also bad practically. There's not one way in which mass deportation is a win that has positive effects on this country or anybody in it.
So, like, what about the crime rate going down, the smuggling of drugs, and the cartel and gang members?
Yeah, so crime rate goes up when we do mass deportation because of its
Yeah,
effects.
because they don't want to leave. They start rioting, peaceful protest, throwing rocks off bridges.
No, I'm gonna finish my argument for myself. You're not gonna finish it for me. Sit down. So the reason why
Your anxiety pin's helping you, right?
Yeah,
it's helping you a lot.
It sure is. Anyways, so the reason why the crime rate goes up in America following mass deportation is because of the effects that the deportation has on the economy. Okay, so it's expected to reduce the GDP by anywhere from 1.1 trillion through 1.7 trillion dollars per year, as well as it's expected to cost $2 trillion over the next 10 years and weaken the economy both on the supply side and the demand side. And he left. Dude, I think I've just gotten too good at debating, like, the Maga worldview. Like, they just can't handle it. I think every single person that we've had up here that has actually been here to debate has just ended up leaving. Every single one. We've been live for an hour and a half. Every single person just hasn't been able to handle it. What's up? Do you support Trump? Okay, they left too. Guys, if you happen to be one of these 9.4 thousand people watching this stream, make sure that you're double tapping away on that phone screen and sharing out this live with a handful of friends, y'all, while we're working on getting that next Trump supporter up in here, y'all. We're going to go get that next guest up in here right now. We got 8-letter M loading in. What's up, 8-letter M? You support Trump?
I don't, but I would like to actually speak to you as, like...
I'm so sorry. I do have to kick you because we are just looking to debate Trump supporters. I'm very sorry. I'm very, very sorry. We're going to move on to the next guest right now. We got Max23 loading into the box. This was the person that everybody was telling me to talk to. I guess you've all chosen your king. Hello, Mr. Max. How old are you? Okay, your king is leaving. And your king left. Who's Max? I mean, literally everybody in the chat was spamming for me to let him up. Yo, Jin! Jin, thank you for the $10 over at Venmo. Jin didn't leave a message, but that was just J-E-N-N. Jin, thank you so much for your kindness. All the love to you, Jin. Let's see 100 Jin W's down below in that comment section. And seriously, thank you so much. What's up, Alex? You support Trump?
Yes, sir, I do.
How old are you?
I voted for him. I am 19.
Okay, all right. You are the oldest guest of the day, funny enough. 19 years old. Okay, phenomenal. Take it away. Tell us why you support the worst president of your life.
I don't know about all that. I just think he was a better candidate compared to Kamala Harris. I like his plan.
No. How could you still say that? Please tell me.
Well, I got you right here. So I think he has better. I think he has a better way of dealing with international issues compared to Kamala. I think she's kind of like. Okay, my bad. It's Kamala. No, it's not Kamala. It's, how do you say it?
Kamala. You could also just call her Harris.
Okay. Well, I think he's just kind of seen as a stronger figure, like compared to Harris. It's not because he's a man or anything. I just think it's just because, I think you'd rather lead with fear than with love. That's the easiest way. Let's see. I think he has better border regulations. I think he has better ways of dealing.
How about we stop there so we could just talk about the first claim that you made?
Okay.
So you said that he's better at dealing with international conflicts, and that
Yes,
he's
sir.
also, has more respect because he leads with fear instead of love. That's also something Hitler did. Does that mean you'd support Hitler? That's also something Stalin did. Does that mean that you'd support Stalin? That's also something that Mussolini did. Does that mean that you'd support Mussolini? That's something that dictators do, man. Yeah, very murky waters with that claim of yours right there. But I mean,
Okay.
as it relates to just your claim that he's better, I let you talk. You'll let me talk. As it relates to your first claim that he's better at dealing with international issues, could you just give us an example of an international issue that he's dealt with properly?
Properly, I'll go with the. Let's go with the big one, the Iran conflict right now. I think that it's a terrible idea to allow Iran to have nuclear weapons. I think it's not a good idea.
So, he's literally the president that allowed them to develop nuclear weapons.
How is that true?
Because he pulled us out of the JCPOA with him.
Well, see, with that, I mean, he pulled us out because he believed that it was too lenient. That's why he pulled us out.
What was it lenient on? It was literally the most strict denuclearization agreement on Earth ever.
Yeah, but his administration still believed that it was too lenient and
For
it
what
didn't
reasons?
address Iran's missile development.
So for what reasons was it too lenient?
What reasons was it too lenient? I just something his administration said.
That's what his administration said. Of course, his administration said it was a bad deal, but just because Trump says something doesn't make it true, i.e. the 2020 election, or i.e. the 30,000 lies he told during his first term. And then also, just the way that he handled Iran also wasn't good, because if the ultimate goal was to prevent them from developing nuclear weapons, we had U.S. intelligence reports tell us that we didn't wipe out their facilities. We only set them back by a month. And our strikes on Iran led to Iran with revoking the IAEA's oversight ability insofar as what their levels of uranium enrichment are. So now we have less knowledge and less of an insight insofar as how close or far they are away from nuclear weapons. We were better off before we bombed them.
I don't know about all that, man. I think it's better to destroy them.
But we didn't. We didn't destroy them. We only set them back by a month, and then they revoked the IAEA's oversight and clearance from the nuclear facilities.
I haven't seen that. I thought they were destroyed, man. I haven't seen anything about.
Yeah, look up early U.S. intelligence reports. Tell us that their uranium enrichment facilities are not destroyed. We have no clue where their enriched uranium is, and they revoked clearance from the IAEA from tracking their uranium enrichment levels. Yeah. So now that you know these facts and you can fact check them, obviously that was not an example of him handling a international problem well. So do you have an example of him handling any problem well, domestic or overseas?
I think that he handled that can be domestic, you said?
Any issue. I just want to see where Donald Trump has addressed a problem and fixed it well. That's all I want.
Okay, can I go to economics real quick?
For sure. Yeah, that's fine. Let's talk about economics.
I'll just use a real life, like right now, right? During the Biden administration, gas was above $3 where I live in Texas. It was above $3. It was really expensive.
Yeah.
I think the highest it got was like $3.30 at one time. It was insane. And now it's all the way down to like $2.50.
Great. So what did he do to fix that problem well?
I think his bills have helped. I think
which one?
I think the big beautiful bill is going to help, but I think
the big beautiful bill just passed the House like an hour ago. So obviously this isn't what reduced the price of your gasoline. My question was, what did he do to reduce the price of your gasoline?
I think.
I mean, I could tell you. Maybe while you're Googling, I'll tell you what I think it was. Well, it was in the first quarter of this year. We had imports surge, and we had future markets crash because his tariffs were literally sending this country into a recession. And in the first quarter of this year, what this did for oil was when the future markets of oil crashed, all of a sudden people were buying barrels of oil at unsustainably low prices, which was a recession indicator. So right now we're just consuming the oil that was bought at the unsustainably low prices because of the crashes in the future markets onset by his Liberation Day tariffs, which also reduced the GDP in the first financial quarter of this year, onsetting a trend towards a recession. Now, if I'm wrong, you could tell me what he did to reduce the price of gas in an economically literate way. Feel free.
Actually, no, I just got the same thing that you just said on the internet right there.
Damn.
But I mean,
checks out. Look at me.
Yeah, look at you, man. Way to know your sources. I don't have this all like on backup in my head though. So that's why I've included you.
No, man, that's fine. That's why I do what I do, man. I just try to demonstrate that Donald Trump's an incompetent leader who only looks out for his self-interest and the self-interests of the rich people around him, and he is not good at handling issues well, overseas or domestically.
I mean, then again, it's not like I'm in love with Donald Trump. I didn't vote for him just because he's Donald Trump. I voted for him because I like his plan more.
Okay. So what's your favorite Trump policy that he's either already implemented or is going to implement?
Well, he promised a lot of things. He promised that he's going to help the economy. He promised he's going to get us out of debt, right? Which is what I love.
You like the idea that he's going to get us out of debt?
Yeah, I do.
If he passed the most expensive bill in American history, would you still support him?
I mean, I don't just. I have no idea. I don't know if he like a big beautiful bill.
No,
I don't think
hypothetically. No,
bill.
he didn't. He didn't. The big beautiful, that's just liberal propaganda. Hypothetically, if he passed the most expensive bill in American history that will single-handedly increase the debt the most out of any president with one bill ever, would you still support him?
I think it would hurt my chances of re-voting for him if he could run for a third term, which he can't.
So would you still support him or not?
I mean, yeah, I would.
Okay.
I would
So
I would
then don't tell me the
support
reason
him.
why you support him is because he's going to reduce the debt, even if you would still support him if he increased the debt the most out of any president in history with one bill.
I would still have issues with it. I mean, it's not like
Okay, so obviously you don't support him to reduce the debt. So why do you support him?
because he had a better plan than Kamala Harris.
And why was the plan better?
Because
what policies of his do you like?
Okay, because during the election, all I saw from Kamala Harris is don't vote for Trump because he's Trump.
Okay. No, she had a full plan and agenda. You just didn't know what it was. In fact, she had a better thought out and better nuanced plan and agenda than Trump. But I'm asking you why you support Trump today, and you're saying it's because you support his policy. So what's a Trump policy that you like?
I like what he's doing with the border. I like mass deportation.
You like mass deportation. Name one good outcome of mass deportation on America, American society, or the American people.
Okay, it's reducing crime.
No, it actually increases crime because we must keep in mind that when we do a mass deportation, it reduces the GDP growth by a projected 1.1 trillion to 1.7 trillion dollars per year, while weakening the American manufacturing on the supply side and the demand side because we're forcefully removing 8.3 million laborers and 12 million consumers, while spending $2 trillion over 10 years. The culmination of all these facts would be a weaker economy. With a weaker, smaller, less efficient economy comes lower levels of qualities of life, comes more poverty, and with more poverty comes more crime. So unironically, mass deportation will cause more crime in this country. And you don't care about crime, or else you wouldn't have put a criminal in the Oval Office.
Well, I do care about crime. I mean, I know there's no such thing as world peace. I think that's far from it.
Okay, if you care about crime, then you wouldn't
Okay.
support Trump after all the facts I just gave you, because I was able to demonstrate how his policy increases crime. But you still support Trump. So either tell me why I'm wrong, or tell me why you still support him, even though he's going to increase the crime rate, even though you just told me that you support him because he's going to reduce the crime rate.
The crime rates only surged because of the protests and the riots.
Crime rates only surged because of the protests and the riots. What? I don't know where the protests and the riots came from.
I'm sorry, I didn't actually catch a lot of what you just
My
said.
argument was mass deportation weakens economy. Weaker economy comes with more poverty. Poverty causes crime. So when we have more poverty, we'll have more crime. Thereby, mass deportation will lead to more crime. Bada boom, bada bang.
Yeah, gotcha. Well, I mean, it decreases the economy, but I mean, like, I don't know. Every other country deports people who are illegal. I don't know. I don't see the issue why America can't. And I just don't get how you would support. Right?
So America shouldn't do it because it hurts our economy. America shouldn't do it because of the ethical concerns related to the treatment of the undocumented immigrants.
Okay, the way he's
America
going about
shouldn't
it
do it
is-
because of the practical concerns. Those are all the reasons why America shouldn't do it. And then you're also saying that every other country on earth does this. No, they don't. Fuck no, they don't. But even if they
What are you
did,
talking about?
but even if they did do this, okay, why would this give us reason not to do it? If every other country had legal child marriage, would you say that America should legalize child marriage, or America should be the shining light in a moment of global darkness and set the finish line of what a country is supposed to do by taking the first step towards eradicating this country of bad shit and criminalize child marriage and push other countries to do the same?
They should push other countries to do the same and stand out.
So
if
then,
it's truly evil.
Then even if every other country on earth had mass deportation, well, what I'd say to this is then America, well, we should, believe in American excellence. We should push every other country to do what is better by doing it first, right? I mean, honestly, when I hear the argument that we shouldn't do it because no other country does it, even though it only leads to bad outcomes, like, I just don't really hear a patriot. I kind of just hear like somebody that doesn't want American excellence, that doesn't want better treatment for the people in this country, and doesn't want to push the rest of the world to do better themselves. Mel, thank you for the $25 donation over on PayPal. Mel says, I feel like screaming. We're in a generation where folks have literally built the equivalent of a concentration camp in the U.S. and don't care. Well, yeah, we'll get there. Well, I would love to talk to some people about that today. Thank you for the $25, Mel. Let's show some love to Mel down below in that comment section. Thank you, Mel, for your kindness, as well as Philip with the $20 over on Venmo. Philip says, keep it up, Dean. Love your streams. Love from a Gen Xer. Philip, love to you too, man. Love from a Gen Z. Thank you so much for your kindness. Show some love to Mel and Philip down below in that chat. I want to see a whole lot of W Mels and a whole lot of W Phillips down below. Take it away, Mr. Alex.
I've actually talked about like all the points I wanted to. I just want to say thank you for your time. I actually have work in about 45 minutes I gotta get ready for. So thank you for informing me. I'm not gonna say much of anything else. Just thank you for having this debate with me.
Okay, man. Have a good rest of your day. Let's go to move on to the next guest. Here we go, everybody. If you're watching and you're like, hey, this Dean guy's cool. I like what he does here. And you'd like to support me in what I do here. The guy's still driving. I brought him up like 3 times in the last hour. He's still fucking driving. And you'd like to support me in what I do here, you can find my VENMO and my PAYPAL if you're catching up what I'm setting down in the bio. Y'all, I get 100% on there. 100% of everything that you send, as well as I get a notification at the top of my phone screen with your name, the amount, as well as any and all attached messages. And if you haven't been able to tell, I've been reading them off. Yeah, let's go to move on to the next guest. Here we go, everybody. Go ahead and drop a Maga with your age down below in that comment section. Honestly, I want to try to pull up somebody that is like not 18 or 19. Adina, thank you so much for the $10 over on Venmo. Adina says, please do the entire debate in your Trump voice. It kills me. I only pull that one out on special occasions. But thank you for the $10, Adina. Show some love to Adina down below. What's up, Jay? You support Trump?
Yes, I do.
Okay, how old are you, man?
I'm 21.
You're 21. What year were you born in?
2005.
You actually can't be 21. Born in 2005. Fun fact.
Fine, 20.
Yeah, buddy. Get the hell out of here. Oh, my goodness gracious. We're going to move on to the next guys. Everyone, just give us a minute. We got Dudley Boris loaded up at box. Here we go, everybody. All right, phenomenal. Yeah, that math was easy because we're in 2025. If you're born in 05, the oldest you could be is 20. What's up, Dudley? You support Trump?
Yes, I do.
Oh, Dudley, no. Come on, bro. Like, I'm going to need you to stop it right now. I'm going to need you to stop being on the wrong side of history, join the right side of history. Stop supporting Trump. He's terrible for you. He's terrible for your family. He's terrible for your future children. There's no redeeming qualities of the orange maniac in his fascist policy. Come on.
Fair enough. But yeah, I'm 28, born in 1996.
Yeah.
So I would say the reason why I support Trump is if you think about the world stage and if we're all playing poker and you have every single country at the poker table, the seat where America is sitting has the most chips right now. We're the chip leader and we just got dealt pocket aces. So my question was, who would I rather have sitting at that table, Donald Trump or Kamala Harris? And for me, that was Donald Trump.
Yeah, why? Why do you support him right now? Tell us what he's doing that you're such a big fan of. Is it the cutting 17 million people off of healthcare, putting the SNAP benefits of 11 million people at risk? Is it passing the most expensive bill in American history, adding the most money to our debt ever? I mean, is it the mass deportation that's just destroying the economy?
Yeah.
What is it? Like, what is it about him that makes you like him?
I mean, obviously there are things I like, there are things I dislike. I think if we're American, it's you shouldn't just vote party lines and say everything about Donald Trump is what I like, because that's just not the case. I support him. He's my president. We can take this anywhere. I think I disagree with you on some facts on the deportation angle you have. I don't agree how kind of your view, your support is it kills the economy. I think it disagrees with that, but I think you're kind of missing the bigger picture here, which is you got to put the stance going forward. Like if people want to come into this country, they should do so legally. There are millions of people trying to get in America who wait 5, 10, 15 years. And obviously it's going to hurt a lot of families, to your point. It's going to hurt moving these people out, but I don't think crime will increase because of that. Sure, the GDP will take a hit. We're approaching $30 trillion this year. But going forward, it's more of, if you want to come to this country, do so legally. One benefit we've already seen since Trump has taken office is the number of crossings have gone down. compared to Biden.
Yeah,
I mean,
because he's
just
changed the incentive structure for undocumented entry. So I think there's two main incentives for undocumented entry. The main one is going to be because the legal means of entry into this country are so unattainable because they take 10 to 15 years. Cough, cough. Donald Trump has never done anything about that. Makes you wonder why. But the second incentive would be like a better life, right? And the way in which he's shifted the incentive structure to reduce undocumented entry is by setting the expectation that you're actually going to have a lower quality of life if you enter into this country with the use of undocumented means, because you're going to just be tortured. You're going to have your human rights violated. I mean, it's pretty.
so. What do you mean? What do you mean he changed the structure?
The incentive structure. The reason
Yeah,
why
what-
we have less undocumented entry now is because immigrants think if they do enter into this country with the use of undocumented means, they'll have a lower quality of life because they'll literally be tortured and centers for terrorists.
Well, I just disagree with that.
I mean, that's what happened to Abrigo Garcia. That's what happened to him. He was illegally deported, unconstitutionally deported to El
and
Salvador.
we could talk about that too.
And then he was put in CICA, El Salvador's prison for terrorists. And we actually learned yesterday that while he was in that prison, he was literally tortured. Okay. Meanwhile, SCOTUS had ruled
he's a
that
criminal.
he had no criminal history.
Oh, well, here's the thing. I think people just follow news and they don't really understand what's going on. If you look into his background, it's clearly evident that he was doing some very shady stuff that the media fails to cover.
Like what?
All right. Well, he got into this country in 2012 from El Salvador with his family. He failed to declare asylum. And the beautiful thing about America is if you declare asylum within 2 years of being here, you have a path to citizenship. So if I was
because he
escaping,
didn't declare asylum, he deserved to have his human and constitutional rights violated, to be sent to a prison to terrorists, where he was forced to kneel on the ground from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. And if he fell out of exhaustion, he would have been beat by the guards. He also deserved to be beat by the guards. He deserved to be told that he was never going to be able to leave. He deserved to be, stacked in a cell with no windows and bright fluorescent lights on for 24 hours a day.
Yeah,
and
of course,
and he
it's
deserved to
terrible.
lose 31 pounds in 2 weeks. You think that is the punishment that we should unlawfully give, because keep in mind, SCOTUS ruled it was illegal, for undocumented entry into this country. So if that's a punishment that we should give for a victimless crime that only helps this country, which is ultimately the responsibility of our government, because it is our government that has made the legal means of entry into this country take 25 years on average, which has set up the incentive structure for undocumented entry in the first place. If you think that is the due punishment for said crime, well, then what should the punishment be for Donald Trump when he raped E. Jean Carroll? God, he should be sentenced to DEA.
You're missing the point,
right?
You're missing the point. I mean, Abreu Garcia was just so wrongfully covered by the media. Like, obviously, what happened in El Salvador, what you're saying, terrible things. I could agree with that. But you're missing the point. It was 8 years later when there was that incident, the loitering incident in the Walmart parking lot, where cops
Not
finally
Walmart,
took him
Home
in,
Depot.
or the Home Depot, excuse me. And they finally took him and they said, wait a second, you're not in this country legally. We have to deport you. So Garcia says, okay, you know what? Let me declare for asylum. They say, oh, sorry, you can't do that. You could only do that 2 years in. The good thing with the U.S. law is there's the second thing, which is what happened, where they kind of concluded that, okay, you now don't have a path to citizenship, but we won't be able to deport you. Great. He's in this country now, but he has no right to citizenship. And that's when he finally said 8 years later, oh, I was escaping El Salvador because my family was fearful for their life. I mean, let's have some common sense here. If I was, escaping a country fearful for my life, the first thing I would do is come to the government and say, yeah, let me declare for asylum, have a path for citizenship. And guess what? There's legal people waiting on the sidelines for 5, 10, 15 years. And, he pretty much gets to cut in line. But whatever. Okay, he gets to stay in this country. Now, what irritates me is a couple years later, he gets pulled over in a car driving from Texas to Maryland with 10 people in this van. None of them speak English. None of them have any bags. The cops, if you watch the video, clearly it's a case of human smuggling. And guess what? They let him go. So people kind of ignore that fact. And the biggest red flag for me was the car that he was driving was owned by a convicted human smuggler who was already sitting in jail. And the media refused to look at this. And they said, oh, look at this Maryland guy wrongfully deported, this and that. And so anyway, that happens. And then what really is kind of the icing on the cake here is when this all became national news, the government, they implemented, I forgot what it was called. You probably know what it was, but the media went up in arms about it. And essentially, the government was hiding kind of the details behind this deportation case. And a lot of people are like, Trump, how could you do that? Trump, how could you do this? Like, the people have a right to know. The reality is, if you look at the history of why this certain act was enacted, it happens to do with people who are on the inside, whether it's a government employee or, in this case, I think, informants. So when you kind of paint the picture together, I really think Garcia was probably and likely an informant for the FBI, which explains, why he wasn't deported in, 2018, why they let him go at that traffic stop. And um, then this kind of blew up. So obviously he went to El Salvador, he came back, and right now, he's under trial for human smuggling. So honestly, I think American jail is probably the best place for him to be, because whoever he's working with now, there's a target on his back. But again, kind of my point, like I will agree and disagree with you on things, Dean, but I just think a lot of people in general on the left and right fail to really dive into details themselves and try to understand the bigger picture. I think free speech is an amazing thing, but there's a lot of misinformation out there. So, that's one thing I've disagreed with you on. Curious to hear your thoughts on it, but we're happy to take this somewhere else.
Yeah, phenomenal. One question. Is Donald Trump a rapist?
Not that I know of, no. I mean, he would be in.
That's the issue with everything you just said. So, Abrigo Garcia, without his day in court, without the determination of a jury, without a defense of a lawyer, is a damn sure MS-13 human smuggler. Donald Trump, with his day in court, 3 years in fact, with a unanimous jury of 9, with his defense, is not a rapist, even though he was held civilly liable by all 9 jurors. See, the issue,
we're not talking about. Well, I'm just talking about Garcia. We don't have to bring.
I just let you speak for maybe 5 minutes on then. Can I speak without your interruption?
Sure.
The issue with this is the hypocrisy and the double standard that you hold. Particularly the double standard of the amount of evidence that you need to find a claim to be true, purely based upon who that claim serves as a benefit or detriment to. So you're fine with spinning the political narrative that Donald Trump is innocent. He's not a rapist, even though jury found him guilty, because Donald Trump is a Republican. He's MAGA. That's your man, and you support him. But you're not totally fine with giving due process, a day in court, and a defense to a man that's accused of these crimes. In fact, you think it's just completely fine to circumnavigate all due process and unconstitutionally deport him to a center for terrorists in another country where he was abused, beat, and tortured for 3 weeks.
I believe in due process. Of course, I believe in due process. That's the law.
So then you should find the Trump administration's unconstitutional, illegal removal and deportation of Abrigo Garcia to CCOT, where he was abused, beat, and tortured for 3 weeks without due process, with no day in court, to be absolutely morally abhorrent.
Well, the administration made a mistake. He was wrongfully deported. I will agree with you there. And they declared to bring him back, which is what they did.
They declared to bring him back? That's what the administration wanted?
Well, from what I remember, no, they didn't. The Supreme Court or the courts ordered that the government has a right to bring him back because he was illegally deported.
And then how did the White House originally respond to that?
They said no.
Precisely.
Yes.
So while Abrigo Garcia was being beat and tortured in a center for terrorists in another country, in which he was sent to unconstitutionally, after SCOTUS ruled it was illegal and they had to bring him back, while he was being beaten and tortured, the Trump administration said, no, we're not going to bring him back, even though we likely know that he's being beaten and tortured, and SCOTUS, the highest court in this country, has ruled that we must. That is a mark of a dictatorial, authoritarian, fascist regime with a total and complete, utter disdain for human rights, disdain for constitutional rights, and is beyond morally abhorrent.
Yeah, that's your opinion.
And why is my opinion wrong?
Well, so we're talking about two different things here. I think you're trying to focus on I'm trying to focus on how the media handled this case. You're trying to focus on
I'm asking you.
Trump's response
I am
to
not.
not
So
for what he
you're
said and not
muddying the
bringing
water.
him
I'm
back.
asking you very clearly to either agree with me and condemn the Trump administration for violating his human and constitutional rights, sending him to a center for terrorists without due process, where he was beaten and tortured, and even after we had the highest court in America rule that they had to facilitate his return, they said no, 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 where he's never going to come back, even though he's being beaten and tortured with no due process illegally. I want you to respond to that. Is that morally
Yes,
abhorrent or what?
I agree with you. I'm not.
So we
He
could
was
agree that
wrongfully
that is
deported.
so we could
Yeah.
agree that the Trump administration was absolutely morally abhorrent and completely disgusting
I
in their
think the
treatment towards
administration made a
LGBTQ.
mistake, and he deserved due process. But I think if you peel back the onion
I
layers, to
would
my
only be
earlier point,
I don't think you could just say it was a mistake, because even after SCOTUS ruled that they had to bring him back, and they likely knew that he was being tortured, they still said he's not bringing him back. If they made a
he's
mistake, their original response would have been, okay, now we have to do everything in our power to bring him back because we have sentenced this man. To torture without due process illegally. We need to get him back right now. But that wasn't their response. Their response was he's never coming back, even though now we know we illegally deported him and we know that he's being tortured. I don't think that we could just chop it
so
up to merely a mistake. I think that we necessarily must call that an intentional, morally abhorrent abomination.
he made a mistake. I'll agree with that. I'm not sure what
I
we're
just
arguing
gave an
about.
explanation of why I don't think we can consider a
You're
mistake.
asking
Don't just
me.
repeat
You're
your original
asking
claim.
me. No,
Actually
no,
respond
no.
to my explanation.
No, because you're kind of muddying the waters here. You're asking me to make an assumption and characterize Donald Trump based on how he handled not bringing him back right away. I will acknowledge with you, yes, it was he should not have been deported. He should have had due process. But the reality is he is back now, and now he's on trial for human smuggling.
So you won't respond to what I just
I'm not
said.
sure. Well, I just don't know I'm not sure what you're trying to argue here.
What I'm trying to argue is that you can't just chop it up to a mistake. You have to call it an intentional, morally abhorrent abomination.
I disagree with that. I think
Okay, so
it
I
was
want to
a
clarify.
mistake.
So did they also just mistakenly say that he's never coming home, even after SCOTUS ruled that what they did was illegal and he must be brought home?
Listen, we can argue. I mean, if
Answer
you
my
want to get
question,
into
yes or no.
nitty-gritty,
Answer my question. Was it
no.
did they just mistakenly say that he's never coming back, even after SCOTUS ruled that his removal was illegal
Well, let me
and
ask
that he
you,
had
why
to
is
come
this
back?
so important to you? I mean, you're missing the big picture here,
Why
I
is
think.
it so important to make sure that we adequately and correctly characterize the decision of the administration, who intentionally sent him away, didn't bring him home, and said that they're never going to bring him home after they knew that they illegally deported him and he had no due process and he was being tortured in a center for terrorists, instead of chopping it up to a mistake? Because it completely scapegoats accountability for human rights violations. I'm
Well, it
not
seems like
okay
you're more.
with scapegoating accountability for human rights violations, especially when the violator is the most powerful man alive.
It seems like you care more about the apology rather than the actual bigger picture here. And I can agree to disagree here.
You're not going to agree to disagree, little bro. This is a debate live. We don't do that here. In this space, we use reason, we use fact, and we use logic to argue our perspective and to
And I
ultimately
presented
see
that
who
to
is
you.
closer to truth, okay? And you have not presented the reasons, the facts, and the logic to me as it relates to my explanation why it wasn't merely a mistake. We should rather categorize this as an intentional, morally abominable decision on behest of the Trump administration, and you have not given me a rebuttal. So far, all of your counter responses have basically amounted to, we're gonna agree to disagree. Dean, I want to stop talking about that now. So how about you stop being a spineless hypocrite, and you either address the meat on the bone, you very explicitly acknowledge every single thing that I've said, and you would dissect it phrase by phrase, word by word, claim by claim, instead of just doing this little annoying thing where you just try to pivot, deflect, and dodge, man. And the reason why I'm obviously getting a little bit flustered with you is because what you're trying to dodge here is the intentional disregard of the dignity and value and the inherency of a human life, and a disdain for human rights. Like, that is a huge thing to just chop up to a minor disagreement that we could agree to disagree on.
Sorry, I was on mute there. Listen, I've agreed with you. If you want me to call him out and say the Trump administration is the worst people in the world for not acknowledging that he did not have due process, Sure, I'll say that. But like, what are we talking about here? Like, we can talk about real issues that matter. I was trying to present an
Real issues
idea.
that matter. You don't think that an intentional disregard for the dignity of a human life and a disdain for human rights is a real issue that matters?
Of course it matters, but this guy was a criminal, was what I'm trying to say. I mean, there were a lot of red flags, and I'll be honest, you're focusing on the wrong thing. I mean, this isn't about
So
Trump
then all the way back to your claim, all those guys are criminal. He never had his day in court.
He did have his day in court.
Oh, okay, so then
when
go ahead
he
and give me
got
the jury that ruled that he is a human trafficker. Go ahead and give me the jury that ruled that he
well,
was a member of
that
MS-13.
is
Go ahead and give
ongoing
me the
right now.
Exactly, ongoing right now, as it should have been before they just illegally removed him to another fucking country to be tortured for a month.
I agree, and that's why my point was I believe that he was an informant, and obviously there's a lot of complex things behind this case. But I will agree with you. Yes, due process. Everyone has a right to that, whether
Okay,
they're here
great.
legally
So
or
then
illegally.
why do you support an administration that has sentenced people to be tortured for things that we don't know that they did?
Okay, well, based on my reading and understanding of this situation, I believe that he was a part of some organization that was involved with the cartel or human
Exactly.
smuggling.
You're saying that I believe without a day in court, I believe without a jury, I believe without a legal defense, I believe without proper proceedings, a discovery period inside of a courtroom, and jury instructions granted by a judge to make sure that this is something that we can know beyond a reasonable shadow of a doubt after hearing arguments from the accuser and the defense and proof as delineated via discovery period and either accepted or rejected by a unanimous jury of 12 inside of a criminal court. That's the issue here, man. Listen, you're basically saying that Donald Trump and his administration can play judge, jury, and executioner. You are giving this man the power of a king, and that's exactly what
I
he
never
wants you to
said that.
do.
I never
He's
said
consolidated
that.
power to the federal branch of this government. He has now gotten SCOTUS to say that federal courts cannot issue nationwide injunctions. So he passed an executive order banning birthright citizenship for the children of undocumented immigrants, which is obviously unconstitutional via the explicit text of the 14th Amendment. But now he's gotten SCOTUS to not rule on the legality of that EO, just simply stated that the injunctions granted by federal judges are not nationwide, only regional. And now he's convinced you and many other Americans that he has the total and complete moral right to play judge, jury, and executioner and play with people's lives without their day in court. This is an absolute embarrassment for this country, and you will go down as a stain on the history of America. Unless you just admit that you're wrong here. Okay, you could totally do that. You have the opportunity to change.
Well, I've agreed with you. I'm not sure what you're getting at.
Okay, well, if you agree with me, then you don't support Trump, right?
No, like to my point earlier, there are things I like and things I don't that I dislike about him.
Okay, so then tell me what outweighs, like the wannabe dictatorship. What outweighs the trying to play judge, jury, and executioner? What is it?
What do you mean by that?
What do I mean by trying to play judge, jury, and execution? I thought that we just agreed that you think that the Trump administration thought that he was guilty of these crimes without giving him a day in court, so they just illegally sent him to a center to be tortured for 3 months.
Well, I never said that. I think
there's your argument. Your
misunderstanding me.
counter argument against me telling you that he was tortured in CCOT was saying that you think he's probably guilty of human trafficking without his day in court. So that is essentially amounting to you saying that you believe that the Trump administration played judge, jury, and executioner of his life without a day in court, without a legal defense or evidence submitted in discovery to a jury. Yeah.
I think he got mistakenly deported, and it was a mistake.
Okay,
right?
well, I've actually already given you the counter argument to being a mistake, particularly the fact that he said he was never coming home after SCOTUS acknowledged that his removal was illegal. If it was a mere mistake, they would have pushed for him to come home.
And now he's home and he's having his day in court, and we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, but that doesn't change anything that I just said as being true. So stop trying to pivot and shift the goalposts and say something that isn't responding to what I said. Because
I just don't know.
My claim insofar as why it wasn't a mistake is because they literally said that he's never coming home while he was being tortured after SCOTUS ruled that he's illegal, that he's illegally deported, and that he needed to be brought home. They said he's never being brought home. If it was just a mere mistake that they cared about, they would have never have said that he's never going to come home.
Sure, and maybe the Trump administration had more information that the public had known, right? I don't know, but I mean, this is.
Okay.
I feel
so that's just speculation without any reason or evidence. You're just trying to justify something which is unjustifiable.
No, I'm not. I think you're trying to twist this. I'm not trying to support Trump here. I think you're just completely misunderstanding me.
Well, just saying that you think it was a mistake, even though I've given you like a billion arguments why it wasn't a mistake, and my direct evidence that you haven't responded to is like a defense, and it undermines and erodes the value of the dignity of a human life, the value of one's day in court, the value of due process, and the value of supporting human rights. So,
listen, I'll tell you what I believe in. I believe in due process, just like you. I think everybody has the right to have their day in court. Okay, he did not get that. So yes, I can agree. Then you can make the claim that the Trump administration handled that poorly, and they did handle that poorly.
Okay, so now that you have agreed that the Trump administration was trying to play judge, jury, and executioner, what good is the Trump administration going to do that is greater good than the bad of them trying to play judge, jury, and executioner?
I don't believe the Trump administration is trying to do that.
I've already re-explained this to you 3 times, and the counter argument the last 3 times has been once again the explanation of why you think that the Trump administration was playing judge, jury, and executioner is very simple. You said that you think Brie Garcia is guilty of these crimes, so you think that the Trump administration also thought that he was guilty of these crimes, and that's why they sent him to CCOT and ignored SCOTUS's order to bring him back originally when they said that he's never coming home. The reason this would be the Trump administration playing judge, jury, and executioner is because you'd say that they possess the moral authority to determine his guilt without his day in court, and they also possess the moral authority to punish him for his crime by sending him to get tortured in CCOT without a jury to arraign or determine his guilt and a judge to determine his sentence. So this ultimately would amount to the claim in accordance with what you believe in, would yield the conclusion that the Trump administration was playing judge, jury, and executioner.
That's just not what I said. I don't know what we're trying to argue about now.
Wait, you did say that you think that he was like a human trafficker, right?
That's what I personally believe.
And
yes.
you did say that that's why the Trump administration sent him to CCOT, right?
No, I said it was a mistake that he got sent to El Salvador.
Oh, wait, I've already disputed why you said it was a mistake. Buddy, keep up. I've told you 5 times why it wasn't a mistake, and you haven't responded. Once again, the reason why we can't classify it as a mistake is because if it was just truly a mistake, then they wouldn't have said that he's never coming home after SCOTUS ruled that they had to bring him home. Can you acknowledge that, please? And don't just say, well, now he's home now, because that's what you said the last 5 times.
Let's dive into that.
And that is a failure to acknowledge what I just said.
So I just said it was a mistake. You're disagreeing. Say that again to me very slowly. You talk quickly sometimes.
If it just truly was a mistake that they actually cared about, then they wouldn't have said that he's never going to come home after SCOTUS ruled that it was illegal and said that they must facilitate his return.
Okay, so what?
So, therefore, it's not just this mere mistake.
Okay, then what would you call it then?
An intentional perversion of human rights and the failure to acknowledge the dignity in a life with aptitude to want to play judge, jury, and executioner.
That's fair. I just disagree with that.
Okay, buddy, this is a debate live. What does a debate live mean? We debate. So how about you tell me why I'm wrong?
I mean, you're focused on the single issue. It's just frustrating. You're like pigeonhole people.
Are you going to tell me why I'm wrong or not? Stop whining, dude.
I've told you the Trump administration handled it poorly.
God, you're still not telling me why I'm wrong. Have a fucking spine and grow up. This is a debate. What are we doing?
We're agreeing here.
You just told me that you disagree. You just told me that you disagree with me.
No, I agree to due process, and I agree to everyone's day in court.
You literally just told me that you... I'm so sorry. We got to run it back.
So what?
So, therefore, it's not just this mere mistake.
Okay, then what would you call it then?
An intentional perversion of human rights and the failure to acknowledge the dignity in a life with aptitude to want to play judge, jury, and executioner.
That's fair. I just disagree with that.
I never disagreed with you, Gene. Shut the fuck up.
Why are you getting so mad?
Yeah, because this is absolutely insufferable. This is a debate live. You told me that you disagree with me. Tell me why.
Okay, I'll agree with you. Trump, he completely crossed the line there.
Great. So if you now agree that Donald Trump was trying to play judge, jury, and executioner, what is the overwhelming good that the administration is doing that outweighs the bad by them trying to consolidate power to the federal branch of government and a claim to have moral authority over what individuals have done and adequate sentences in accordance with their thoughts outside of the ruling of a jury based upon a preponderance or sufficient amount of evidence as submitted into criminal proceedings?
I have no idea what you just asked me, to be honest.
So what is the overwhelming good that the Trump administration is doing to outweigh this bad?
Holistically speaking?
Dude, answer the question.
What is he? He's doing a lot of good, I think.
Okay, what is the good that he's doing that outweighs his bad?
Okay, back to our original conversation. Deportations are good.
What is one positive outcome of mass deportation on American society? Be very specific.
It shows people that if you're going to come into this country, you have to do it legally. I think that is a positive thing.
Okay, then quantify the positive outcome.
Quantify the positive outcome.
Yeah, I don't just want rhetoric. I want like a very specific claim here that demonstrates what the positive outcome is. Like, be very specific. What is a positive outcome?
Well, it shows if you want to come into this country, you go through legal proceedings to be here, and you can't cut the line and do it illegally.
That's not
That's a positive outcome.
That's not demonstrating the positive outcome on America or the people in America. Like, how are the people in America going to materially benefit?
Well, if I'm a citizen in this country, I would like to know. I would want to live in a country that has closed and secure borders. That would make me feel better as a citizen. I think that's a
So
positive.
you're saying that people are going to feel better after mass deportation? Okay, why?
No, I think deportation, yes, it's going to hurt in the short run. A lot of it's going to hurt.
So my question, Dean says, name the positive outcome of mass deportation, and then this guy says it's actually only going to hurt.
No, I said short term it's going to hurt, but long term it's going to set a precedent of how to come into this country.
Okay, so then what is the long-term benefit going to be off of like setting this precedent of how to come into the country? Like obviously this precedent of how to come into the country isn't going to be the long-term benefit. It's going to be like maybe the benefit in which that precedent would yield. So what is a benefit in which that precedent it's going to yield?
I don't know, maybe more resources towards like the legal ways of getting into this country, the resources that go there, because obviously there's a lot of resources going to the U.S. border right now. And I think if you had secure
more
borders,
resources go. So the long-term benefit is what? More resources.
the long-term benefit is if you have a secure border, more money will be going to the offices that manage legal immigration. And obviously there's a backlog, to your point.
Whoa. Could we send more money to the offices that oversee legal means of entry without mass deportation?
Sure.
Okay, so then this is not a benefit of mass deportation. Because if it could be caused by something other than mass deportation, or it can happen without mass deportation, then it's not a benefit of mass deportation.
But no, the way
so then what is the long-term benefit of mass deportation?
Oh, wait a second. The federal government doesn't. It's not part of their budget to pay for the immigration offices. They get paid through fees through the people coming into this country. That's how it's funded, and that's just how. That's what I've read on. You probably know more about it than I am, but it's not something that we can just allocate more money to from the federal budget.
So the more people that come in legally, the more money they get paid. So then pass legislation to make legal entry easier, they get paid more easy. That doesn't necessitate mass deportation. So what is the necessary long-term outcome that is good of mass deportation that couldn't be achieved otherwise?
So let me ask you this. Why?
No, because you still haven't answered my question. You still haven't been able to tell me the long-term positive outcome that occurs given mass deportation that couldn't be achieved without mass deportation. Like, dude, all that I'm asking you is what are the benefits of this policy? Okay, and you can't tell me here. That's essentially what my claim amounts to. I want to know what the long-term benefit of mass deportation is that can't be achieved without mass deportation to justify mass deportation.
The benefit to mass deportation is you're getting rid of people who are not.
Amounts is the benefit of mass deportation. Is mass deportation, which is the benefit of mass deportation. Very nice circular argument, man. That is super cool. That's like a super homophobic.
I mean, do you disagree with
that's
that?
like a super homophobic person saying that the benefit of banning gay marriage is banning gay marriage. Yeah, that's like a segregationist saying that the benefit of racial segregation is segregating races. That's like a Nazi saying that the benefit of the Holocaust was the Holocaust and the unaliving of 6 million Jewish individuals. So I'm actually going to need you to be able to tell us why removing the 12 million undocumented immigrants in this country has a positive outcome on the country by, I don't know, I'll give you an example here. Maybe it will increase average wages. Maybe it will increase average quality of life, reduce the crime rate, reduce the drain on our government, allow our government to reallocate better resources towards citizens. Maybe the undocumented immigrants are draining too much on public resources. Like those would be the quantifiable good outcomes of like a removal, at least in theory. I'm just giving you examples of what you could argue, not to say that those arguments are necessarily true. You can't just say that the benefit is a removal of them as a whole. You got to be able to articulate what the benefit of the removal is. Like,
Okay,
what happens
here's
to
one.
America when they're all removed that makes America better?
Okay, I'll say this. If you remove the people that aren't supposed to be here, a benefit would be the people waiting to get into this country. You could argue that we would let more people in to maybe fulfill those jobs that we had, pretty much gotten rid of by deporting them.
Big issue, not true. Lines would only get longer. So mass deportation is not a border policy. It is a policy that relates to what we do with the undocumented immigrants that are already in this country. If you would want the benefit of better legal means of entry into this country, well, then you have to advocate for border-specific policy in order to hire more judges, to fund our courts more, to expedite all legal claims. Okay, and
Okay,
that's
can I
something
ask
that
you a
Donald Trump
question
has
then?
never done. That's something that Donald Trump has never intended to do. And that's actually something that Donald Trump stopped the Biden-Harris administration from doing. So in other words, the articulatable outcome that you think would benefit this country caused by mass deportation is not something that is caused by mass deportation. It is something that Donald Trump has never done, never intends to do, and has actively fought against when the Democrats were in power. So bada boom, bada bang, you're unequivocally, categorically
Well, let me ask you a question,
wrong.
because I'm curious what your thoughts are on this. What do you have to say to the millions of people who legally are trying to get into this country, have to wait 5, 10, 15 years? Like, how do you think they look at, the people who are living here illegally? Like, what would you say to those folks
Sure,
who
I'll
are waiting on the
answer your
sidelines?
question, even though it's a massive fucking deflection. I think that they're being royally screwed over and fucked by our government, because our government has never passed any legislation to make the legal means of entry into this country better. And every time our government has tried, it's just ended up being torpedoed. So the very decrepit legal means of entry into this country, which is the ultimate incentive for undocumented entry, can persist. So for the most part, Republicans can use it as an issue to run on every 2 and 4 years. The ultimate incentive for undocumented entry is the unattainable legal means of entry. And that's why we've never seen Donald Trump even do as much as speak at a podium in front of a mic saying that he wants to make him better. They're getting royally fucked over and slapped in the face by our government.
And you know what? It's interesting too, because there's no other country in the world that has immigration problems like the United States. I mean, how many people are waiting to get in this country today? No, there is. I mean, do you see immigration problems or deportation problems in Canada or Mexico or
Do you think that Canada and
anywhere in
Mexico
Europe?
are the only other 2 countries in the world? What? Dude, come on. Now, I answered your question. I was good faith, but I want you to go back
Okay.
to my original question of being able to articulate the good outcome of mass deportation on America. This is going to be your last opportunity. I've been asking you this question for around 45 minutes now. And in the last 45 minutes, you've been unable to answer this question. Okay, and you're testing my patience to the absolute max. You are testing the patience of everybody watching the stream to the absolute max. I just think that you're going to be a spineless droid that basically cosigns yourself to whatever the right wants, and you have done no independent research into the nuances of these issues. I believe that mass
Well, I think
deportation
we're
only
approaching the
yields
problem
negative
differently.
outcomes on America. Negative outcomes like removing 1.1 trillion through 1.7 trillion dollars from our GDP per year. Negative outcomes like costing $2 trillion over 10 years. Negative outcomes like downsizing the economy and making our producers less efficient, because undocumented workers are more likely to participate in the labor force, meaning that they account for 8.3 million of our laborers. When we remove them, they are no longer contributing to the production of goods produced by American companies. They're no longer contributing to the overall tax pool and collection, and they're no longer contributing on the demand side of accounting for nearly 12 million consumers. So when we remove them all, American companies are crippled. Their operations become significantly less efficient, and there's less individuals buying the products of their operations, also reducing their productive capacities, as well as the fact that our government thereby has less money to spend in places that matter more. So it's your social safety nets. This, for multiple reasons, would indicate higher levels of poverty, which would come with higher levels of crime. And of course, we have the alternative of mass amnesty, which is a way to identify every person in this country. It'd also be faster than mass deportation, because the undocumented immigrants would want mass amnesty. The undocumented immigrants do not want to be deported. Not to mention that actually raise more money for our government, because undocumented workers would be more incentivized to work over the table, because they'd be able to file for a tax return. They'd be able to claim benefits such as Social Security, Medicaid, and Medicare. And alternatively, it is the case that they'd get paid more, so our GDP growth would only increase with no change in the workers' conditions, because they'd have more bargaining power against their employer, meaning they'd be able to collect and garner higher wages. And that is a pretty in-depth explanation of why mass deportation is so bad for this country, and how mass amnesty categorically benefits our country in every single way that mass deportation hurts it. Now, if you'd like to offer this a cogent rebuttal with nuance and fact, feel free. However, I just ultimately think that you'll be incapable of doing so, and you'll find some rhetorically advantageous way to tell me that I'm focusing on the wrong issues, to tell me that we should be talking about something else, or to justify supporting the policy without addressing how it empirically only hurts this country and there's alternatives that empirically only help this country.
That's fair. I think you listed off a whole bunch of stuff that there were some things I disagreed with in there. But I think what it comes down to, Dean, I have a lot of respect for you. I think you're a smart guy. I think when it just comes to deportation, I look at it more of a principle thing. I think you focus more on the minute details, which is fair. I think would be a
predicted
positive.
Exactly what you did. I told you that you tell me that we should be focusing on other issues, and that is exactly what you just did.
What's wrong with that?
You just called losing nearly $2 trillion from our GDP per year a minute detail. That's what's
it is okay. If that is fact, $2 trillion out of the 30 trillion we're doing in GDP, sure, we'll take that hit. Like I said earlier, there's going to be a short.
I have a question. Was the Great Recession minute?
No, but that was very different.
The Great Recession, so during those 2 years, from 2007 until 2009, the GDP fell by 4.2%. Okay, you understand that our GDP would take a larger annual hit given a mass deportation. So the Great Recession is actually more minute than the economic impacts of mass deportation.
Yeah, GDP in the Great Recession was what, 15 trillion, and it dropped 4%. That's way. It's a small amount, right?
Oh, but I thought you said it wasn't minute. But now, guess what? In order to uphold the position that everything I'm saying is ultimately minute and doesn't matter, now you're going to call the Great Recession minute. You're honestly just a gaslighting, hypocritical POS with a disdain towards the material impact of the Trump administration.
I don't know why
you don't really care
upset.
how they hurt this country. You just want it. I'm getting upset because I've now told you and been able to describe and prove that the Trump administration has a disdain for human rights. I've been able to describe and prove that they want this dictatorial fascist regime where they get to play judge, jury, and executioner, as well as I've been able to describe and prove how the empirical outcome of their policy is a great detriment for the American economy, the people in this country, as well as our crime and poverty rates. And now there's alternative policy that materially benefits this country and sends us beyond the moon and helps us in all ways. And all of these points so far have just been minute. Every single one, every single point you've called minute. Every single one has just been minute. So what fucking matters? Does anything matter to you, or is everything just minute? Everything is minute to this guest. Donald Trump could get up on a stage tomorrow and say that he is going to systemically slaughter every single puppy owned by every 10-year-old girl in this country. And guess what? According to this guest, Dudley just say it's minute.
No, that would be horrible. And I disagree with that.
Oh, yeah, it's horrible and not minute, as long as Trump hasn't done it yet. I forgot about how they hold the theoretical red lines if it's something Donald Trump hasn't done yet. But then the moment Donald Trump does do it, it's a worse thing since sliced bread.
Well, there are things that I dislike about Donald Trump too, right? Listen, I'm a free thinker. There's things I'll agree. There's things I'll disagree on.
All right, go free think somewhere else, bro, because we're here to talk to rational thinkers. When you say free think, you just mean you get to think whatever you want, regardless if it tracks or cosigns to reality or not. You do not base your beliefs off of reality. You base reality off of your beliefs. And you don't, and you're not only successful in gaslighting me, but you're also successful in gaslighting yourself because you truly believe these things. What's going on, Oliver? Do you support Trump?
I mean, I'm not far right, but I'm just in the middle. I don't give a fuck. Okay.
How old are you?
Huh?
How old are you?
I'm 19.
Cool. Do you support Trump?
I'm kind of in the middle. Because,
overall, would you be happier if Kamala Harris was president right now?
Okay. It's a yes and a no thing. Because with the whole... What?
Okay. Before you continue, I need to thank a couple people. Elegantly Wasted! Thank you so much for the $50 super chat over on YouTube. Thank you, Elegantly Wasted. I want to see at least 500 Elegantly Wasted W's down below, they say. I'm a fan, and I just want you to keep being you because I've become a cool aunt as I share you with my nephew, and he loves you, and the one liberal versus 100 Trump supporters. Thank you for keeping me cool. Elegantly Wasted, thank you so much for the love. Please show Elegantly some love down below in that chat right now. Seriously, that is so incredibly kind of you. His Bulls Radio, thank you for the $10 super chat. Other Disgusted Veteran with the 10, Casey with the 10, and Joe with the 10. Thank you guys so much. And then Mr. Dennis with the $50 super chat over on YouTube as well. Dude, Dennis, thank you so much for the love, my man. Let's get 500 Elegant W's and 500 Dennis W's for the $50 donation each. That is seriously unreal, guys. Thank you so much for the love. I would also like to quickly thank, let's see here, Brittany for the $20 over on PayPal. They say, hey, Dean, thanks for giving me hope. I appreciate you, Brittany. Let's get 200 Brittany W's down below. And then Christopher with the $100 over on PayPal 40 minutes ago. Oh my God, Christopher. Let's get 1,000 Christopher W's down below. They say, hey, Dean, I appreciate all that you do. I am 36 now and a part of the tax bracket that benefits from the cuts, but I don't forget what it would have felt like if when I was younger, when I was not. Dude, Christopher, that is a way that I wish more people would think. I think that humans need to have some empathy. Thank you so much for the $100 donation, man. That is seriously insane. As well as Kyle, thank you for the $20 over on PayPal. I want to see some 200 Kyle W's down below. And then Jade, thank you so much for the $15 over on PayPal. Hunter with the 20 as well. Show some love to Kyle, Hunter, and Jade. Hunter says, thank you for doing what you do for our country, Dean. Keep up the good work. Also, everybody else needs to see Superman this July 11th. Oh, I'll be in the theaters for sure, man. Thank you for the $20, Hunter. And then also Andreas, thank you for the $10 over on PayPal, saying cheers all the way from Norway. Thanks for crushing the MAGA. Appreciate you for the $10, Andreas. Then George with the $15, saying thank you for being a voice for the people. I appreciate you for that love, George. Jessica with a $1, Fiad with a $5, and then Timothy with a $5, and then Abigail 5 minutes ago over on PayPal with the $25 on PayPal. I want to see 250 Abigail W's down below in that comment section right now. Now, that's everything from PayPal in about the last hour or so. There's a handful of other people that I must thank. Jessica, dude, this was 40 minutes ago. I'm sorry I didn't see this until now. Jessica, thank you for the $100 over on Venmo. Dude, let's get 1,000 Jessica W's down below. Seriously, Jessica, thank you so much. Jessica was just calling that last guest a joker and wanted me to let them know that they pay taxes and cannot use benefits. I actually did get around to that in the end, so hopefully you're happy. But thank you for the $100 donation, Jessica. As well as Philip with the $20 over on Venmo 55 minutes ago, saying keep it up, Dean. Thank you for the love, Philip. Show some love to Philip down below. And then also Tip with the $5 over on Venmo, Ali with the $5 over on Venmo, Arya with the $10 on Venmo, saying that your life is now my #1 radio station. Thank you for the love, Arya. Elizabeth with the $2, Garrett with the $5, Joshua with the 1, Elijah with the 1, and then Angela with the $25 over on Venmo. Show some love to Angela down below in that chat. I'm not going to read your message, but I appreciate you for the kindness. Show some love to Angela. Then Rudapon with the $10 saying, keep up the good work on YouTube Live, Dean. Fuck Trump. Couldn't agree with you more. Thank you, Irene. Show some love to Irene down below. And then Gerard, this was 10 minutes ago, but Gerard, thank you so much for the $50 over on Venmo. Gerard says, hey, it took 15 years to become a U.S. citizen. My dad died before he could become one. I could not care less about illegal immigrants because at least they were able to come into this country and have a higher quality of life. Thank you for the love, Gerard. And I'm really sorry to hear about your dad, man. And the systems just simply take too long. Show some love to Gerard for the $50 donation down below in those live chats, as well as Ava with the $2. And then one last one here, Mr. Joe with the $20 over on the YouTube super chat, saying I'll be donating my tax cuts from the BBB to the LGBTQ+ IA causes. Take that, MAGA, from a top 5%er who hates MAGA, bro. We fucking love you, Joe. Huge shout out to Joe. And then also, I do understand that kind of took a moment there. So what I am going to do for this foreseeable future is I'm just going to start reading off the donations kind of in the debate instead of like doing it every hour or so. So I may start like interjecting into some of these conversations, but that's probably easier, like better to do than like waiting off for an hour because I have about 1 billion to read off and I want to, allow you guys to, enjoy debates. While also being shown love for your support. But go ahead and take it away, Oliver. Why do you support Trump?
The thing is, I don't support shit right now. I'm going to tell you right now, the last 5 presidents...
Hey, man, I'm so fucking sorry to kick you, Oliver. I feel like shit, but you just told me that you didn't support Trump, so we got to move on. What's going on, Q? Do you support Trump?
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Ah, Jesus Christ. What a cult member. Why?
Because it's all thick bitches until it's no thick bitches.
And there's no Q on my live goodbye. Moving on to the next guest, everybody. We're going to move on to the next guest. We got Joe Deering loading up in the box. Here we go, everybody. Yo, Felipe, thank you so much for the $10 over on Venmo. Can we get 100 Felipe W's down below in that comment section? Thank you for the love, man. Let's get 100 Felipe W's for the $10. Thank you, thank you, thank you. What's up, Joe? You support Trump?
Of course.
How old are you, Brett?
18.
18. Okay. And why do you support such a shit terrible president?
Well, free speech.
Okay. All right. Well, free speech. So, I mean, he's revoked visas from international students over free speech. He actually ran on a violation of your First Amendment rights, particularly the fact that he wanted to put people in jail for a year for burning the American flag. SCOTUS ruled in the 70s that was against the First Amendment. And if you value free speech because you value your constitutional rights and protections, in December of 22, he said that he wanted to abolish all rules, regulations, and articles, even as found in the Constitution. So get owned.
My thing is with the visas and him revoking students who explicitly say they want to overthrow the American system. I'm not a free speech absolutist in that regard. I do believe that people who come into this country on a work visa or a college visa and say they want to overthrow the government of America or death to Israel, I do not believe that those
Death to
people
Israel.
have a right to.
So if I don't think that the current government of Israel has the right to exist, I think that the current government of Israel should be thrown out. You think that I should go to jail?
No, not necessarily.
Okay. Maggie, thank you for the $10 over on Venmo. Maggie says, I'm really scared to lose my healthcare, and I'm a lesbian, so this world is scary as fuck right now. But watching your lives makes me feel better. Thank you for what you're doing, Dean. Maggie, I really appreciate you for the $10. That is incredibly kind of you. As well as Sonia, thank you for the $20 over on Venmo. Let's get 200 Sonia W's down below. Sonia didn't leave a message, only the love. Thank you, Sonia. It means the world. W's for Sonia. And then how do you feel about Donald Trump running on throwing people in jail for a year for burning the flag when SCOTUS has explicitly ruled that violates our First Amendment rights?
Has that happened yet? I don't think people have been thrown in prison for burning the American flag under Donald Trump's administration.
Yeah, no, it hasn't happened yet because he can't get the policy passed because it is in violation of the Constitution.
Okay, so that's kind of irrelevant if it hasn't happened yet.
I don't think it's irrelevant. If I say that I value the safety of children and Donald Trump runs saying that he wants to grape a bunch of kids, even if it hasn't happened yet, that'd give me good reason to stop supporting Trump. I'd say that we can definitely have good reason to not support somebody, either because of a threat of something they want to do or something that they'd theoretically support even though they can't actually do it.
Well, the thing is, like, he can say like a lot of different things, but as long as he doesn't act on them, I don't. You know the saying, actions speak louder than words. Like, if he just says a bunch of things like, "Hey, it'd be great if I could be dictator of America," or the tweet on Twitter where he said like he would terminate the Constitution. Like, he actually can't do that under
if Donald Trump
rules.
said he wants to be a fascist dictator, he wants to get rid of the Constitution, and he wants to re-implement slavery, you'd still support him because it never happened.
Well, he couldn't do that under our constitutional
I know, but like
structure.
assuming that he would never actually be able to do it, would you still support him even though he said that he wanted to do it?
Sure. I mean, sure. Why not? I don't
because
see...
he said that he wants to bring back slavery. It's a pretty
okay.
Good reason
Well,
to
obviously,
not support a
if he wants to bring back slavery, obviously, I'm not going to support him for that.
Okay,
but that's
so therefore, you do care about what people believe and what people want to do, even if they can't get it done. Thanks for the concession, man.
okay. I really wanted to stay on this free speech topic because under the Biden-Harris administration, we saw people like Douglas Mackey get arrested for simply posting a sarcastic tweet on Twitter of the Hillary Clinton, like a fake tweet about election. He actually got sentenced to 10 years in prison. We saw a lot of peaceful pro-life protesters outside of abortion clinics get arrested and put in jail that President Trump thankfully pardoned because they were just peacefully protesting outside of an abortion clinic. We saw raids on random
I have a
people's
question.
FBI.
So, what was Douglas Mackey's charge?
I just know he got sentenced to prison for.
So what was the charge that he was sentenced to prison for?
I don't have it off the top of my head right now. I can
So
look
then
it up.
how can you say that he had his free speech violated? What is going on, everybody? And this was actually in the 2016 presidential election. This wasn't under the Biden-Harris administration. You lied. Okay, so let's go to read a little bit about Douglas Mackey. In 2016, the MIT Media Lab identified Douglas Mackey as the 107th most impactful influencer on the election. He was part of several private pro-Trump group chats where members brainstormed ways to influence the outcome of the election. They discussed ways to frame Hillary Clinton as a warmonger to promote the narrative that Bernie Sanders had been cheated in the Democratic primaries, to stir supporters' resentment against Clinton and the Democratic Party. Vaughn and others promoted the quote-unquote hashtag draft our daughters, falsely implying that Clinton would draft women into the military when her position was that women should be required to register for the draft, but that the draft should not be activated. Made memes suggesting to left-leaning voters that their friends secretly intended to vote for Trump. These have been described as disinformation campaigns as being ran with surgical precision as they looked for ways to make them more viral with quote-unquote dissected changes in wording and colors to make their messaging more effective. So, I mean, it looks like he was literally trying to interfere and change the outcome of an election and attempt voter suppression. I think that's a fine charge.
Well, he actually was arrested under the Biden-Harris administration, not under the Trump administration.
Yeah, so I mean,
But
it looks like he was charged with a valid crime of like voter suppression and attempted election interference. Good.
well, he posted a meme on Twitter. That was the main reason he got arrested.
Actually, no. I mean, I just read you off on how this was like a surgical plan where they attempted to swing the outcome of the election. It wasn't just a meme on Twitter. I mean, this guy was the 107th most impactful influencer on the outcome of the 2016 election, and he engaged in disinformation campaigns, ran with surgical precision and collusion with like a bunch of other people. And I mean, it looks like that was proved in court as well. Dude, oh my God. So he also said something that posted something about how, like, quote unquote, avoid the line, vote from home. And then he provided individuals with a fake number that they could text to quote unquote cast their vote. At least 5,000 individuals tried to vote by texting the number shown in the memes.
That's also what
around the
somebody else
time
did.
that Mackey promoted these memes, he was discussing ways to quote unquote limit the black turnout and described black voters as gullible. And then after this, as well as everything else that I just described, he was arrested for attempted voter suppression alongside several co-conspirators. So, I mean, it looks like he was found guilty of conspiracy against rights by a federal jury in March of 2023. Yeah.
May I respond?
And then finally in October, he was just sentenced to 7 months in jail.
Okay. Well, there was another case. I forget the name of the person, but it was the same person who posted the same thing about Trump, saying there was a fake number that they posted on Twitter and nothing happened to them under the Biden-Harris administration. So there's a double standard there. Also, I disagreed with the arrests of peaceful pro-life protesters outside of abortion clinics
Wait, so
under
you're
the
saying so you're
Biden-Harris.
saying that somebody else did this and then didn't get arrested for it. So just because two people do a crime, one person gets arrested for it, one doesn't. That doesn't mean that there's a double standard there. That just means that a criminal justice system isn't perfect.
No, that just means that
And
when
like
one
there's
person
also probably like a billion like add-ons to the charge. Like maybe they have to like prove intent. Maybe they don't have sufficient evidence to prove intent for one person, but not the other person. Maybe like nobody actually clicked the link. And also, not to mention, this law has been upheld by SCOTUS. I don't think that this is a free speech violation. I mean, I think that this is a good charge that should be dished out to those that deserve it. And I'd love to consult a legal professional, compare the case that you're bringing up, and maybe it is the case that the second person, maybe they couldn't prove intent, maybe they couldn't prove political motivation, maybe charges weren't pursued because nobody clicked the link. There's about a billion things here. And honestly, I'm not willing to trust you because when we started this conversation, you told me that the Mackey dude was arrested and sent to jail for 10 years because he posted a meme on Twitter. Turns out he was a part of a of a disinformation campaign to change the outcome of the election, operated with surgical precision, and he was able to successfully get 5,000 individuals to not get out and vote under the false premise that if they texted a number he ran, they could cast their vote that way. And he was specifically targeting black voters. I think that those are two completely different realities. I think that the narrative that you spun was detached of reality. And I'm just not willing to trust you on anything you'd say about the second person. So good job, guy. But I mean, it seems like you've lost here. And like my greater question is, if you care about free speech and more so like voicing your opinion in the vote, well, then you should have really cared about sending Mackey to jail because he prevented individuals from voicing their opinion in the vote. And you should also really care about Donald Trump because in 2020, he really did try to convince, he really did try to steal and rig the election away from Joe Biden, in which if he was successful in doing so, would have silenced the voice and the vote of every single American. I think that we could have considered that, if successful, the largest attack on free speech of Americans in American history.
Okay. But the thing is, like, the Senate did end up certifying the vote of 2020 anyways, even with Trump trying to overturn the election.
I know, because Mike Pence said, hell no, Trump, I'm going to go ahead and certify the right vote, even though you don't want me to. And I'm not going to certify the fake votes you put in, on January 6th, even though you want me to certify them. I'm going to value the Constitution more than you. But he did single-handedly launch the largest internal attack on the American democracy and the free speech of Americans since the Civil War, man.
Since the Civil War?
Yeah, man. There's never been a larger internal attack on our democracy since the Civil War. By far the biggest internal attack on the American democracy. Yep.
I also
Can you respond to that? Because how could you say that you support Trump because of free speech, even though he has single-handedly launched the largest internal attack on our democracy and on free speech since the Civil War?
Yeah, I can't really respond to that, actually.
Okay, well, isn't that where the debate ends?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for letting me come up.
All right. Well, have a good rest of your day, man. Please research this fake electorate plot. We're going to move on to the next guest. Here we go, everybody. Let's go to get that next guest up in the box. If you're in that queue, make sure that means that you're at least 18 from America and you support Trump. If you want to support me, you can find my Venmo, my PayPal, and the link tree in my bio. I get 100% of the proceeds over there. Really, really quickly, I'd like to thank Megan. Thank you for the $5 over on Venmo. Thank you so much for the love, Megan. As well as the only, thank you for the $33.33 over on Venmo. The only says, Elder Gen X here, you give me hope for my grandchildren's future. Fuck MAGA. Dude, guys, show some love to the only down below in that box. Thank you for the $33 and couldn't agree more. Fuck MAGA. Show some love to the only down below. As well as Zachary with the $10 saying, please keep on roasting them. Yeah, we'll be roasting them all day long. Thank you for the $10, Zachary. Show some love to Zachary down below. As well as Joseph, thank you for the $10 over on PayPal. Audrey with a 5, Amanda with a 5, Hudson with a 5, and Shaki Ria, thank you for the $5 as well. You guys are awesome. Welcome in, Alan and Kel. Do you guys support Trump?
Hey, it's just, I hope you can hear me all right. I've never done a live before. Yeah, I do say support really anybody radical. I'm going to say, just straight out from watching your live. Yeah, I support Trump. Why do I support Trump? Unfortunately, I support him as a necessary evil in the place we live now.
What the fuck?
I know it's wild.
I hate this argument. I hate this argument. It is never necessary. It is, Christian, thank you for the galaxy. It is never necessary to strip the human rights away from 66 million American women. It is never necessary
on
to
either
force
side, correct?
60 pregnant great victims per day to be denied access to abortion. It is never necessary to
revoke
healthcare away from 17 million low-income Americans.
Can we pick a specific topic, and I can tell you why it's necessary? I think that would be easier. Why an evil is necessary?
Why was
in
it
this
necessary
world?
to restrict the human rights of the 66 million American women that have lost access to elective lethal abortions in their states because Donald Trump told the SCOTUS to overturn Roe v. Wade?
Simple, because the people like yourself that are rising up against it, there has to be something to fight against.
Okay.
in order for the right things to come out. I know it's a little circular of an I totally understand. But at the same time, as far as abortion goes, and as far as let's say, let's say just that way I'm not jumping around. As far as abortion goes,
Oops, I
you
didn't,
guys can.
I didn't mean to invite you to turn on your camera, but I didn't mean to mute you. And hopefully you won't be mad at me for muting you because I've deemed it as necessary. See what I did there? Anyway, here's my thought. So you just told us that it can be necessary to literally violate the human rights of 66 million American women and girls for some greater good. I'm going to give you an analogy. We're going to see how you respond to this analogy. There's a 7-year-old girl that is raped by her father. She was impregnated, forced to maintain said pregnancy, gave birth. She grew up and she became one of the most successful women rights activists in this country's history. And she single-handedly was able to reduce the amount of rape in this country significantly through her work as an activist. I think any rational mind would say, well, all the work she did was really good. Reducing rape culture, advocating for women's rights, that's awesome. But the fact that she was great is still incredibly wrong, and I wish that it wouldn't have happened. But from your perspective, would you say that her getting raped from her father and impregnated and forced to maintain that pregnancy was a necessary evil that had to happen? That if you could roll back in time and play God, you would have made it happen again in a heartbeat because of the good outcome in which was produced via the action? Got to unmute. What are your thoughts?
Sorry, I was trying to figure that out. Okay, so no. But just let me make this one point before, because it kind of explains at the end, and I swear it's not circular. Until we identify these issues and the control that is maintained under our government, whether it be wildly left or wildly right, it does not give the masses enough motivation to get off of our feet to do something about it until we see such constraints put against humanity in general.
Okay.
So where I
Hey,
say
hey,
it's
man,
disgusting,
you threw your argument. You threw your argument out the window.
Okay, how? Okay, go ahead.
Because you said that 7-year-old getting raped wouldn't have been an evil necessary, and you still wish that it wouldn't happen, even though a whole lot of good transpired from it. So thereby you've accepted that human rights violations can never be considered this evil necessary thing that should happen, even if it produces a lot of good. Meaning you don't think that the Trump administration is going to be an evil necessary, nor do you think the 66 million human rights violations on behest of American women and girls via losing access to abortion was an evil necessary as well.
It's the evil necessary that's followed behind it. What's following next, where we don't want the government to have control over women's bodies, where we don't want them to do X, Y, or Z. Nobody ever points out a problem and tries to solve it in today's world until they see the problem there. I understand where you're saying that you look at the actual problem itself and it's so disgusting that there cannot be any sort of positivity out of it.
Okay, we are going to go in and just do a quick little poll. Does anybody understand what he's saying at all? Because if nobody understands what he's saying, I'm just going to kick him and move on. Does like any, like, no. Great, we're going to move on. Yeah, typically the people that make that argument are just super incoherent. So I usually don't entertain it, but, I thought I would in that circumstance. We're going to move on to the next Trump supporter, so everyone just give us a minute here. While we are, Becky, thank you so much for the $5 over on Venmo. Becky says, my sister almost died yesterday because of a restriction on abortion. Fuck you, Alan. Damn, man. I'm really sorry to hear that, Becky, and I'm glad that she's done it. As well as Jason, thank you for the $15 over on Venmo, saying as an older millennial gay man who's frustrated by the lack of logic most people use, I just want to say admire your knowledge. Thank you, Jason. Show some love to Becky and Jason, and seriously, Becky, I'm so sorry to hear that. What is going on? Do you support Trump, Steph? And Steph isn't here, so we're going to move on to the next guest. Here we go, everybody. I also quite badly need to use a restroom, so I think I'm going to text Parker and see if he could cover me real quick. Yo, are you free to quickly cover me while I use the restroom? All right, we're going to go to get that next guest up in here right now, y'all. For the 9,000 people watching the stream, guys, make sure that you're double tapping away on that phone screen, y'all. We are going to work on getting the next Trump supporter up here right now. If you're like, hey, this Dean guy's cool, if you want to support me, support what we do here, you can find my Venmo, my PayPal, and the link tree, my bio on TikTok, or in the pinned message over in that YouTube stream. I get 100% of the proceeds. 100%. Every single penny goes straight to me, as well as you'll get a notification at the top of this phone where I can read out your name and any and all attached messages, as I just did for individuals like Jason. What's going on, Claire? Do you support Trump? And Claire said no. Goodbye, Claire. Moving on to the next guest. Here we go, everybody. Everybody, just be patient while we are getting the next guest loaded into the box, y'all. Everybody be patient. Everybody be patient, quite frankly. All right, who's next, guys? Parker's not free, so I may just have to say goodbye to the stream for like a minute or so while I go use the restroom, but we'll see. What's up, Lance? You support Trump?
Yeah.
I don't trust it. You sound like a troll. What's up, Shannon? You were spamming that. Okay, that is not a 43-year-old Trump supporter. Dear Lord. Dear Lord. Oh, my goodness gracious. All right, let's see who's next. We got Caleb maybe loading up in the box. What's up, Caleb? You support Trump?
Yes.
How old are you?
23.
23. Okay. All right. Well, we'll let you give us an argument. Lindsay, thank you so much for the $33 and the 33 cents over on Venmo. Guys, let's show some love to Lindsay Double in the comment section. Let's get 300 Lindsay W's. Lindsay says, thanks for kicking that person out. Evil is never necessary. Love what you do. I couldn't agree more, Lindsay. Thank you for your kindness. Let's show some love to Lindsay down below for the incredibly generous $33 donation. Take it away, Kayla. Why do you support this shithole of a president?
Well, I don't know. He's just like, I think he's just like sometimes he says some different stuff and then all this air crap. And sometimes doesn't agree.
Caleb left. Oh, you guys could hear me too nice. I'm sorry. Okay, there we go. All right. Everybody, super duper quickly, I'm going to go ahead and run to the restroom. I don't have anybody to cover me, and for that, I apologize. I'll literally try to make it as quick as possible. Everybody, BRB. And for everybody in the meantime, on TikTok especially, make sure that you're double tapping that phone screen and showing out that live, because it'll really help in reducing the amount of people that leave. BRB. Wow, I'm back. Holy crap, you guys did good. Oh my goodness, look at that. Okay, only like 300 people left while I was using the bathroom over on TikTok. Like, those are like relatively good numbers for the amount of people that would like typically leave. Good job, you guys. It was great. Very good, very good. I appreciate everyone so much over on TikTok for double tapping and spamming that chat. You guys actually did phenomenal. Like, seriously, guys. Like, I don't know, like the TikTok algorithm, like sometimes you just literally have to game it, right? And what we just did, we just gamed the TikTok algorithm by artificially boosting engagement. So like less people would leave and like more people would come in, so we could like maintain like a higher viewership, so we could get some more debates. Like, good job, you guys. That was great. That was great. What's going on, KT? Do you support Trump? Yeah, KT's just not even fucking here. KT's literally asleep. We're running like awfully low on guest requests. We may have to hit a restart soon. Like, I don't want to, but we just literally only have like 20 people to queue. Chances are most of them are like liberals. So I don't know. But hey, if you're watching, you want to come up and debate, go ahead and let me know down below in that chat by dropping a MAGA. We'll get you pulled up. What's up, White Rabbit? Do you support Trump?
What's up, Dean?
Hi, do you support Trump?
No, I just wanted to add that.
I'm sorry, man. Just looking for Trump supporters. While we're getting the next Trump supporter up here, yo, Stephanie, thank you so much for the $20 over on Venmo, Stephanie. Guys, show some love to Stephanie down below. Stephanie says,
Hello?
I think that most of you need to explain to people that when all of these cuts happen to the people that need help the most, they'll try to feed their families however they can, hence crime. Great point, Stephanie. I'll start bringing that up a lot. Let's see 200 Stephanie W's down below in the chat for the great point and the $20 donation. Thank you so much. As well as Evan, thank you for the $30 donation over on Venmo. Evan says, keep dunking on the Trumpers. Thanks for giving people hope in times such as these. Thank you for the love, Evan. I want to see 300 Evan W's, and thank you for your kindness. As well as Heather, thank you for the $10 over on PayPal. Welcome in, Mr. Jake. Do you support Trump?
No, I just wanted to ask, how do you think I should get my hair cut today?
Go with the middle part, but get the hell out of here. Okay, all right, because we're only looking for Trump supporters, guys. Please, 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 please respect it. Please respect it, everybody. Please respect the rules. Quite frankly, what are we doing? I'm telling you, like, vast majority of all the people in the queue are going to be liberals. I don't even know. Do we need to, like, restart or something? Like, I don't know what to do. This sucks, man. This sucks. Okay, where's the next guest? We only have around another hour left on live, so I don't really want to restart, but if we have to do it, unfortunately, it is something that I will do. We might just have to restart. But isn't that crazy that we could have like over 8,000 people in here and there's like maybe 3 Trump supporters that are in the queue? Maybe 3? Isn't that nuts? I don't know. It's insane to me. It truly is. What's up, Jake? Are you like 14?
Yes, but can you talk?
Bye, Jake. Okay, moving on to May. Here we go, everybody. Just trying to get that next guest up in here. Y'all, what is going on? Snat. What's up? Do you support Trump?
Yeah, but mainly because both parties just are catering to Jews, so it's kind of a hard decision.
Okay. Well, because you say catering to Jews, that makes me think that you're a little fucking Nazi, so I'm just going to move on. Everybody just do be patient while we get the next guest up in here. All right, phenomenal. Who's most likely one of like the alt-right people? He's like one of the alt-right people. Yeah. What's going on, Keith? Do you support Trump?
Vote for Bob Dole, 1996. We can't take 4 more years of Bill Clinton. We can't do it anymore. We can't.
That's funny. Okay. All right. All right, moving on. Then also, about that, in respect to that last guy's claim, you could usually tell if they're like a Nazi or not a Nazi based upon if they say like the American politicians cater to Israel, based upon like cater to Jewish people. Because the statement that America caters to Israel is absolutely fucking true, and it's something that I hate, right? But the adjacent claim is going to be caters to Jewish people, and that is a claim that is more typically rooted in anti-Semitism compared to like anti-Zionism. What is going on, user? Do you support Trump?
Obviously, if I did, if I have Trump as my profile.
Okay, so is that a yes?
No shit.
Okay, how old are you?
18.
18. What year are you born in?
2006.
Okay, what month?
October.
Okay, all right. Why do you support Trump?
Because of abortion.
Okay. So you support Trump because you like abortion, and is this because like Donald Trump has paid for 7 of them?
What?
Do you support Trump because you like abortion like him? He's only paid for like 3 to 7 of them, right? 3 to 7 of them, right?
Oh.
So you like support Trump because he's just like super pro-abortion?
Yep.
Okay. Least obvious troll ever.
Bro, whatever.
Hop out. All right, let's see. Courtney, thank you so much for the $40 over on PayPal. Courtney, that is so incredibly kind of you. Let's get 400 Courtney W's down below. Courtney says, I found you through Ghibli, and I have not stopped watching you. You school people. You're an educated badass, and I can't wait for the day to vote for you one day. Well, I mean, I don't know if that day will ever come. I may just continue to do what I do now. I honestly don't know, Courtney, but nonetheless, I do really appreciate you so much for your kindness. And if we could please show some love to Courtney down below in that comment section, that would be very appreciated. Thank you so much for the love, Courtney. What's up? Do you support Trump?
I mean, I did vote for him, but I like regret my vote, honestly.
Based? Hell yeah. Okay, all right. The work's already done there. I don't need to do it myself. All right, everybody. Woo! We have spent a lot of today focused on just trying to find people that support Trump. What's up? You support Trump?
Yeah, I do support Trump.
How old are you?
I'm 20.
Are you driving?
No, I'm not driving. I'm carpooling. My friend is driving. I can put on my camera and show you that he's driving.
No, you're good, I believe you. I heard you talking to somebody before you popped up here. So why do you support the worst president of your life, Donald J. Trump?
So I support him because I'm pro-life and I believe his policies are much better than Kamala's. And yeah, I support his pro-life stance.
Okay, is that the only policy of his that you support more than Kamala Harris's? Because I feel like if we look at like anything else, it's a little bit like less contestable. It's like tax cuts for 100 million American workers in the low and the middle class versus the largest budget bill ever passed in American history that defunds healthcare for 17 million Americans.
Right. I will say, the big beautiful bill is, definitely something I don't agree with. That abortion is my strongest one since I am a Christian. We can go into a Christian debate if you want.
No,
We
let's
can
have a
separate.
conversation about abortion. We'll compartmentalize and specifically talk about abortion. That's fine. I don't care. But before we do, I really got to thank you, Wayne. Thank you so much for the $200 over on Venmo. It's so good to see you get with it in here with us today, Wayne. Guys, show some love to Wayne down below in that chat. Thank you so much, man. Seriously, Wayne, thank you for the $200. Fucking Bruce Wayne is in the building. That is so much. I simply do not deserve that. But Wayne, thank you so much, man. Wayne's message reads, sent some yesterday. Wayne, I did see that. You didn't send that while I was live, and I've been waiting for you to come back in here because, guys, Wayne yesterday, when I was off live, donated $300. So I don't want you guys to just thank Wayne for $200. I actually want y'all to spam like 5,000 Wayne W's down below in the chat for the total of a $500 donation. Wayne, I love you, man. We love you. You're incredibly kind. You're incredibly generous. And I mean, I know that you've told us a couple times before how you find yourself in that top 1%. And you know how much you'll personally benefit from something such as the BBB. And I just want to let you know that I have so much respect for you because of the fact that you exist in a spot where you benefit so much off of the policy of the right, fiscally speaking, yet you still have enough intelligence and enough emotional maturity to recognize that the downfalls outcast on millions of others in this country are meaningful. And that everybody's life matters, and for that, man, I find you incredibly admirable. And honestly, you know, I hope maybe one day a lot of people, myself included, can be a lot like you, Wayne. So please show some love to Wayne down below in that comment section, everybody. Please show some love to Wayne. And sir, do you support pro-life legislation because you think abortion is murder, and you think that abortion is murder because it ingresses upon the moral law of God?
Yes, I do think abortion is murder. Yes, I would support abortion legislation. Give me 1 second. I'm going to connect to my AirPods because the car is really loud.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. In the meantime, everybody make sure that we're double tapping. The AirPod quality might be a little bit subpar. If it's too bad, I'll just move on. But I mean, well, I guess we'll just see. Brittany, thank you so much for the $5 over on PayPal. Thank you, Brittany. As well as Sophia with the $5 over on Venmo and Allison with a $1 on Venmo. Okay, speak real quick.
Is this bad? Is this bad? Is this bad? Is this bad? Is this bad?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit worse, but I feel like it's manageable. John, thank you for the $10 over on Venmo. Say no Trumpers in box because they're all going to get hammered and destroyed. So real, John. Thank you for the $10. Okay, so is the reason why you support pro-life legislation is because abortion is a sin? That's ultimately why you support pro-life legislation.
Right. I think that it is the purposeful, most of the time, it's a purposeful ending of a human life. It is a human. That's why I view it as wrong. Yes.
Oh, man, that mic is really bad. Sorry, Zeno. It's not going to cut it. I'm sorry, man. I was willing to give it a shot, but I could just barely decipher what you said. I'm sorry, bro. Yeah, so about the AirPods. The newer AirPods, the sound quality on them actually isn't terrible. However, the older AirPods is just a little bit more difficult to decipher. Jake, what's up? Do you support Trump?
Dean, do you like it in the ass?
Fetus, please stop in your ways. Reconsider. Be a kid. Don't try to grow up too fast. And don't be focusing on stuff like that. We're going to move on to the next guest. We got D&E joining up, everybody, right now, y'all. Everybody saying that you heard him. It sounded okay. Well, I kicked him because I couldn't decipher like the last part of the last sentence that he said. And I was more like, I don't know, maybe that there's other people in the queue that I would be able to decipher a little bit easier. But I would love to have that conversation about Christianity as it relates to like moral beliefs. But if it's just a little bit too hard to decipher him, it'll kind of just like throw my argumentation off. But I mean, if we can't find anybody else in the stream that's ready and willing to come up and debate, I'll get back up in here. What's going on? Do you support Trump, Paul?
Oh, I support Trump, man. I love Trump.
You do? Okay. What time is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go to move on to the next guest. Everyone just be patient while we get that next guest up in here, y'all. They're loading in right now. Phenomenal. Okay. All right, here we go. Fix the mic, Zeno. Hop back in that queue. Solo your mother, what's up? Do you support Trump?
No, I don't.
Okay, what does your name mean?
I solo your... Wait, what is it now? I think I changed it. Can you hear me still?
Yeah, what does I solo your mother mean?
It's just so gross, man. I can't even explain it.
Great. Zeno,
Okay,
welcome back in.
what's up? I'll just there's a bunch of traffic, so it should be better now. Is this better?
Perfect. Okay. So yeah, let's go over your position. Would you say that abortion is morally wrong ultimately because it is a sin?
No. I mean, it's a sin to murder, and I believe abortion is murder because it's the taking of a human life. So yes.
Okay. Great. I have a question. Do you agree with Romans where it says that all sins kind of fall short of the glory of God and all sins are identical in the eyes of God outside of blasphemy?
So no, I would not agree that all sins are are equal in the eyes of God. I think that He hates all sin equally because it's separation from Him. But I do think He hates some sins more than others. Yes.
So that was a contradiction. You just said He hates all sins equally, but He does not hate all sins equally.
Right. Sorry. Let me rephrase. I think He hates when humans sin. I guess most of the time, but He does hate sin. Different. He does. I guess hate some sin more. Yes.
Okay. And how could you determine like the moral wrongness of sins?
Oh well, for example, I would say He hates murder more than lying. For example, because there's a few cases in the Bible where lying actually, saved the Israelites in the Old Testament. And He in the Bible it says that this made. I guess this was part of God's plan, and then there's times where, for example, Moses murdered.
Wait. Like murder was also part of God's plan at points, like the genocide of the Amalekites.
Right. Yeah, but I think I'm talking about like specifically within the.
How do we know via the Bible that like murder is like significantly more wrong than lying?
Because whenever Moses murdered, he was actually extremely condemned for it in the Bible, and same thing whenever Paul murdered, he was also extremely condemned for it, and it was.
Okay. Well, I mean, don't we get like condemned for all sins?
Right. I mean, we do, but I do think He does hate some sin. There's a verse that more clearly, shows my line. Supports this.
I'm not sure that there is. That's why I'm asking you these questions. I think that the big issue that using Christianity as a basis for legislation like purports is we can't like clearly identify which sins are more wrong or less wrong than others. I'd say like the best chance that you may have at this is like looking at like the 7 big sins in Romans, but outside of that, man, like unless we want to like insert our intuitions on top of the text of the scripture, we don't know, like the level of wrongness of sins as purported from this perfect standard of morality, just because the Bible doesn't really tell us much about it. And like theologically speaking, this has led like the Catholic Church to structuring the wrongness of sins based upon like apostolic succession, the magisterium, and the normative power of the church. So it's like the imposition of external beliefs outside of the Bible onto the scripture. However, they just think that that's like okay and aligns with the adequate theology of Christianity. And that's probably like the best response that we have is to assume like some normative power of humans and church leaders. And then the church leaders tell us the wrongness of sins. So unless like you're a Catholic, are you a Catholic?
No, I'm not.
Yeah, so like you're
I'm
not
Calvinist.
a Catholic. You're a Calvinist. And I don't really think that the Calvinists have like believe in any like magisterium of the church. They don't like give normative authority or infallibility to leaders. And for that reason, I don't really think that you would have an easy way of going about trying to determine the moral wrongness of sins. Can you agree?
I would agree. That's why I try to make my arguments, pretty secular because I understand that it can be, pretty muddy waters whenever you take it to Christianity.
Okay. So yeah, now if you like basically agree and concede here that, we can't use Christianity as like the foundation of like why you'd support pro-life legislation here. What is the foundation? Why do you support pro-life legislation?
Abortion's murder outside of Christianity as well.
Okay. And what is murder?
The willful taking of another human life is what I would define as murder. The intentional taking of another.
Nah, I don't think that's a good definition of murder. The reason I don't think that's a good definition of murder is because, like, if somebody broke into my house, killed my kids, and killed my wife, then tried to kill me, if I intentionally took their life, then you'd classify me as a murderer. However, I don't think that's the case, so I wouldn't say that murder is just mere, like, intentional killing of human life. I'd say it's the unjust termination of a human life.
There we go. Okay, yeah, that's a better definition.
So now that we've refined the terms here, why do you think that abortion is the unjust termination of a human life?
Well, because I believe that, that fetus, that zygote, whatever, clump of cells, as the left usually tries to take the argument, I believe that is a human life as well. I think that's its own person, and it does not, regardless of the method of conception, it will have its own mind, it will have its own heart, it has its own DNA. Therefore, I think the zygote or whatever has the right over its life. It's
So
not,
you ultimately think if
the
like you
mother's.
have human DNA, then you have like a right to life?
I mean, yeah, I guess even if it's just one cell, yes, one singular zygote.
So there's like, now I forget what it's called, but there's some like dysfunctional, dysfunctional conception can occur. I think where it's like two sperms will try to implant into a single egg and it doesn't develop into twins. It literally just develops into like these sacs of fat, and they just kind of remain sacs of fat, but they still have their own unique human DNA. Would you say that those sacs of fat have the right to life? I forget like the name. There's like a medical name. I just forget it. But basically, so conception happens, it fails, and you're just kind of left with little sacs of fat. Yet they have their the molar pregnancy. That's what it's called. Molar pregnancy.
Right. Okay. So I would say a normal conception is what I would give the human to, the life to, not necessarily the sacs of fat.
Okay. So then you don't think that human DNA in its own grants the right to life. So then what does?
Right. It would be I guess the conception, the zygote, pretty much.
Okay. So you're saying zygotes have a right to life because they're a zygote? That's a circular position.
Not a zygote, but because it has. I guess, yeah, okay, now you're challenging me. Good. I would say just the human and a normal concept, anything that has been conceived normally, a sperm and an egg, comes together, and boom, you now have a human cell that, I don't know the exact medical terms, but whatever that is.
A zygote. So what trait does a zygote possess that makes you give it the right to life?
The human trait.
He's driving
the
through
fact that it is.
He's driving through pretty uncharted territories right now.
The fact that it is classified as the human species, that's what I would give it the right to life to.
Okay. I mean, this introduces complications in your position because originally you said it's human DNA that defines like a human being. So like at this point, like I'd say that you don't have a clear definition of what a human being is since you didn't constitute a molar pregnancy as a human being. But I'll kind of ignore that for now because ultimately if you're just saying like a typical fetus has a right to life because they're human, a typical zygote has a right to life because they're human. Well, I mean, like I just kind of jumped to the immediate issue here. The zygote has a right to life, and like IUD, which is a form of birth control, can kill zygotes. Do you think if a woman has an IUD, knows that IUD can kill zygotes, is sexually active and kills a zygote, is she a murderer? We're gonna have to mute, man. I muted you because of really loud background noise. There you go. So if a woman has an IUD, knows it can kill a zygote,
Sorry about that.
decides to engage in sex, kills a zygote, is she a murderer?
So if she knowingly killed the zygote, like she 100% knew that this was going to kill the zygote, which
No,
I
she
can't
didn't know
necessarily,
100%. I think it's like 5%,
Oh,
but it
okay.
does.
Right. Okay. So then I would say no, because then again, attention matters. She didn't intend to intentionally kill it. So I would say no. Back to, how you said you would defend your house. So it's different. I think the chances are much lower, and I wouldn't classify that as a murder because, the chances are much lower.
I don't know. I don't think that the likelihood
most
of
of
this
the time that
I don't think that the likelihood of this outcome like occurring would like change the culpability if the action were to have occurred, given like her prerequisite knowledge that she knew it could happen. Like for instance, if I had like a loaded pew pew and I pointed it at the door in front of me and I knew that there's like a 5% chance that it hits somebody on the other side, and it does hit somebody on the other side, and when I pull the trigger, like I'd say I'm a murderer. Would you agree?
Oh, right. Well, okay. The difference with those is, there's intention behind what the woman was doing before. There's no real intention of you just, taking a pew pew and, doing that to the wall. There's no real intention there.
The intention is
at least for her, was that.
So my intention in pulling the gun would be, I find loud noises very desirable.
Okay, if you found, well, that would make you, more strange compared to, someone that's just
am I a
trying
murderer?
to, if I'd say if you're pointing a loaded pew pew and the chances are there, I would say find your desires in something else, not something that could risk someone's life for ultimately no reason. Versus
that's a fair response.
Have
That's a fair response. But if I still decide to pull the gun and kill somebody, am I a murderer? Even though I could find my desires in somebody else, maybe I could listen to YouTube music really loudly.
Yes, I would say. I would say you're probably a murderer. Yes, I would say yes.
All right. Well, this would be the same about the woman then, because like she knows that this IUD can kill a zygote. She knows if she engages in sex and like the man finishes, like there's a chance that IUD was gonna kill a zygote, right? But she still engages in sex because she finds it pleasurable, and that zygote does end up dying as a result of the IUD. She'd be a murderer too, then, right?
That's where I have to disagree, because again, she's doing what we see as humans, a normal thing. She's doing a normal thing, and over something that is, has been proven to have a very low chance of killing the zygote. And
wait, we already went over this. We already accounted for this with the gun example. There's a 5% chance that the gun's going to kill somebody on the other side. Very low chance. If it does happen, you still said that's murder. So I don't see the difference between the two examples. Come on, be honest. Don't be dense. Okay.
Well, okay.
You told me if I shot the gun at the door with a 5% chance of it killing somebody on the other side, and it did kill somebody on the other side, that I'm a murderer because I knew that this action ran the risk of killing somebody on the other side of the door, and I still intentionally decide to engage in the action. That's why I'd be a murderer. Okay. Just like the mother, under your view, like knew that this action of engaging in sex with an IUD ran a small risk of killing a zygote, and she intentionally decides to engage in sex. Right. It would meet all the same criteria as the gun example, making her a murderer.
Okay, but would you agree, yes or no, that shooting a gun at a door is more oh, sorry, I said the G word. Shooting that at the door is more grotesque than having sex. Would you agree with that?
I don't know, what do you mean by grotesque?
Like, it is a more, it's a more, I guess, extreme way of having pleasure, and a more extreme way of, I would say,
why is it a why is it a more extreme way of having pleasure? Because it runs the risk of killing somebody on the other side? Well, isn't that exactly what you'd say about a woman with an IUD engaging in sex for pleasure? I don't see any reason why, under your view of granting the right to life to both people like you and I and zygotes, that it would be any more extreme for me to take a gun and shoot it at the door with a 3% chance of it killing somebody on the other side, and a woman engaging in consensual sex with an IUD. I don't see any reason why one of those should be like more or less extreme than the other, because under your view, it's very extreme to kill a zygote, just as extreme as killing an individual like you and I, since you believe that both the zygote and I have the right to life for the same reason, being that we are human beings.
Well, okay, sorry, I had to mute again because of the noise. But I would say it's more grotesque, like I said, because
what do you mean by more grotesque? I don't even know what that word
unaliving
means.
someone. Okay, let me finish.
You're cutting in and out, man. Pro-lifers try to custom logic challenge extra hard. You're cutting out, man. So what is the response?
Sorry, Maga mobile. So okay. Anyway, I would say that unaliving someone via a pew pew is, way more, and it makes the person suffer more. I'm assuming you're talking about a fully alive person, and whenever you have not just the life, but you also have the conjunct of life plus past experience or whatever, then okay, it becomes more extreme to unalive that person, because number one, they can already experience suffering. The zygote cannot experience suffering. It still has the right to live, but it cannot experience suffering because it is a zygote.
He just conceded the whole argument. He's pro-choice now. He told me the reason it's not murder to kill a zygote, but it is murder to kill somebody like you and I, is because we're conscious and we can experience suffering, but the zygote can't. You just made the pro-choice argument. You literally just made the pro-choice argument. You just said, it is murder to kill me, but it's not murder to kill a zygote. It is murder to kill me, but it's not murder to kill a fetus. That's the concession that you just made.
No.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Stop it. I was literally asking you for why it would be murder to kill somebody with a gun, but not murder to kill a zygote with an IUD. You literally told me the reason why it is murder to kill somebody with a gun, but not murder to kill a zygote, is because the person I'm killing with a gun is conscious and has experiences. Yes, that is exactly what you just told me. Okay, so remember when you told us that abortion is murder? According to you now, it's not murder because that fetus does not have any consciousness. The fetus cannot experience pain or suffer. Okay, every single thing, every single reason that you just gave, right, can apply to the context of abortion and make it not murder. And because every single reason that you just gave can apply to the context of abortion and make it not murder, then your original premise that you believe abortion should be banned and outlawed because it's murder is false.
Okay, sorry. I just let you talk for a long time, but I was saying, you're obfuscating. You're a misstep. You're thinking that just because I define murder in different cases and I differentiate between those means that I don't give the right to life to the zygote. No, I still give the same amount of right to life as the zygote as the person on the other side of the pew pew. I just said it is more extreme to do the pew pew thing than it is to have sex and accidentally, because of a very low chance, end the life of a zygote. I wouldn't use an IUD personally. I don't agree with them because of that reason. Well, not personally because I'm not a woman, but you know what I mean. I just you're using my my definition of murder to justify an abortion, which I don't agree with. I still think they both have the right to life equally.
Is it murder when I slaughter a cow and eat it?
No.
Would you say the answer there's no is because the cow doesn't have a right to life?
I would say it's because it's not a human.
Which means it wouldn't have the right to life, right?
It does have the right to life, but not if your desire to eat it trumps it.
Whoa. Okay. So you just don't know what a right to life is. You don't know what rights are. Okay? See, so like a right to life would be your deontic wrong maker insofar as why you'd think it is wrong to kill a human, thereby making it unjust, thereby meeting the criteria of being murder. Okay? So like if you're saying that it's possible to like intentionally kill a life with no motivation, okay, and that life has a right to life, but it's not murder. You're just completely garbled on like your normative ethics. You just don't know what you're talking about. Okay, like a right to life would be the wrong maker, and which would make like death of an entity like be classified as murder. Okay, and like even if I accept this like garbled nonsensical position where you're saying that the zygote still has the right to life, it's just not murder to kill it. Okay, that doesn't change anything. Because your position on why you think that abortion is wrong is because you think it's murder. So thereby, if we could classify an abortion as not murder, even if the fetus still has this right to life in this weird illogical sense that you're describing, it's still not wrong, or it still shouldn't be illegal. So like my counter argument as a whole is now we're just going to like ignore like this concept of a right to life. Because honestly, I'm pretty sure in the way that you frame your position, this concept of a right to life is completely meaningless for moral wrongness, right? And we're just going to hyperfixate in on the concept of murder. You said the reason it isn't murder to kill a zygote is because it doesn't have sentience, it doesn't have consciousness, and it can't experience pain or displeasure, meaning that because a fetus doesn't have sentience, doesn't have consciousness, and can't experience pain or displeasure, it's thereby also not murder to kill a fetus.
So, okay, I'm not saying that you're forgetting the fact that you said IUD, meaning that very low chance. It matters because when you talk about murder, you're talking about prosecuting someone and actively trying to get them arrested for it. I'm assuming you would agree if I murdered someone on the street right now, you would want to prosecute me and arrest me. It is completely different. And if you're saying I should prosecute and arrest someone who gets pleasure from loud sounds but has a 5%, yes, we should prosecute that person because, number one, if they know there's a chance and making someone suffer, then, and, you know, get unalived in a very horrific way, then, of course, in that case,
Okay,
yes,
can
it
I just
should
cut
be,
you off? Because the first thing that you said, the difference was the likelihood of the outcome occurring. So, like, the gun through the door example was assuming the same likelihood as an IUD killing a zygote. And you completely just blew past that. You said that it was a different likelihood. No, it's the same likelihood.
Okay, so, Dean, what you're doing right now is, like, putting my... You're trying to demonstrate that I do value life, which I can appreciate. And, of course,
I'm trying to demonstrate that given your logic, you'd have to say that it's murder to kill a zygote. However, you then responded and said it's not murder to kill a zygote because a zygote doesn't have experiences. And that's the moment where you shifted, like, the point of my position in this debate from demonstrating absurdity with your position just to showing you that your position is ultimately a position that is pro-choice. I'm not going to do this back and forth for much longer. Like, you're very obviously just equivocating. Like, you're very obviously just, like, muddying the water and obfuscating your position. Like, at first you told us that it wouldn't be murder to have an IUD kill a zygote because of a low likelihood of that outcome occurring. So then I demonstrate that same likelihood in the outcome occurring of me shooting a gun at a door. Yet you think it'd be murder for me to shoot that gun through a door and kill somebody on the other side. So obviously the reason why you don't think it's murder for an IUD to kill a zygote, and he left. Great. Got it. Okay, bye, Ryan. Bye, buddy. We've been live for 3.5 hours. I don't think that we've had a single guest in the last 3.5 hours that hasn't ended the debate by running away when I'm mid-sentence proving them wrong. Let's see here. Yo, Goon! That is G-U-N-N. Goon, thank you so much for the $50 over on PayPal. Let's show some love to Goon down below in that chat. Thank you so much for the $50. That is seriously so incredibly kind of you. Thank you so much for the love, Goon. That is G-U-N-N, everybody. Thank you, Goon. Goon says, keep up the incredibly important work. I'm Icelandic, watching American politics from far away. The sinking feeling I have in my stomach when Trump won last election has gotten worse every day since. I'm really worried that the most powerful country in the world votes racist, fascist imbeciles for president. And watching your channel gives me hope. You are doing your work to change the minds of those who are capable to do so. Thank you. No, thank you, Goon. That is incredibly kind of you. Everybody show some love to Goon, G-U-N-N, down below in that chat right now. Thank you so much for the love. I'd also like to show some love to Kristen and John down below in the chat. Both Kristen and John donated $10 over on PayPal each. So thank you, Kristen and John. I would also like to quickly show some love to Laura for the $50 over on Venmo 4 minutes ago. Thank you for the love, Laura. Guys, show some love to Laura down below. Laura says, I'm an old-ass Gen X activist and can't begin to tell you how much fun it is to watch you. And I thought I had a mouth at your age. Yeah, keep going. We got you. Dude, Laura, I love you. Thank you for the love, Laura. Can we show some love to Laura down below in that comment section? Thank you so much for the love. Everybody show some love to Laura and Goon. Keep in mind, that is Goon spelled G-U-N-N. It is a reduction of an Icelandic name that I cannot pronounce. And thank you so much for the love. We're going to move on to the next guest. Show some love to Lauren and Goon down below in the comment section. What is going on, Buff? Do you support Trump?
I'm back.
It is a child saying the N-word. We very quickly remove them. And now we're going to move on to the next guest. Everyone do be patient while we get the next guest Aiden up in the box. Here we go, everybody. Do be patient while we're pulling the next guest up. And keep in mind, we have around another 30 or so minutes on the live. What is going on, Aiden? And Aiden said goodbye. If you want to donate to me before I end my stream here in around 26 minutes, you can find my Venmo and my PayPal on the link tree, my bio over on TikTok. I get 100% over there, as well as you'll get a notification at the top of this phone where I can see your name in any and all attached messages, and I could read them off. As well as over on over on YouTube. I have it in the pinned message. What's up, Ozzy? Do you support Trump?
Sorry, didn't.
Oh, sorry, didn't mean to request. No worries, man. We're going to move on to the next guest, Joseph. And yo, Phoenix! Oh my goodness, Phoenix! Thank you so much for the $100 super chat over on YouTube. Let's show some love to Phoenix down below in that comment section. That is P-H-E-N-I-X. Thank you for the $100. Phoenix says, hey, Dean, since BBB passed, what are some steps/suggestions that the common folk should be taking? Honestly, that is a little bit of a more difficult question to answer, because obviously the first one would be to call your representatives, but they don't fucking care. So honestly, I think the best thing for us all to be doing is to be outspoken and to be trying to change the minds of the people that still support this shit. Because ultimately, the Trump administration is no more if they don't have any supporters. Okay, right? And we really do need to try to convince as many people as possible that they shouldn't support the terrible policy of the right. And I think that we could do that by opening up the door on critical dialogue, such as the dialogue that we have on these streams. And I think that you guys could even apply kind of what we see on these streams interpersonally with your own friends and family. And I try to do that same thing myself. I have old friends that were Trump supporters, some that still are. I don't think I consider them, like super close friends anymore. As it's just kind of become a little bit more hard for me to consider like a Trump supporter my friend. But at the end of the day, I seriously do try my best to not just exclude people from my life because they support Trump. If anything, I try to like bring them closer and convince them that they're wrong and tell them why. And that's like very, very, very important to do, you guys. Now, if like you just don't have the ability to do that because the Trump administration is personally hurting you so much, and it's just hard to conceptualize of why somebody can watch that pain, watch that hurt, still support them, and it's just hard for you to consider them a friend. I absolutely get it. But I mean, if you have the ability to like stay in proximity to people in your life that support Trump to try to convince them otherwise, please do it. I find that so incredibly important. Let's go to move on. But it is really one of those scenarios where if you do it, great. If you don't do it, I mean, also very justified. What's going on?
Oh, I missed it.
Do you support Trump, Avery?
Oh, wait, hello?
Hey, what's up? Do you support Trump?
Yeah,
How old are you?
19.
Yeah, how old are you? What year are you born in?
2006.
What month?
January.
Okay, you are 19. Avery, dude, don't support Trump. Very bad. He's a terrible president. I just can't believe you.
I'm sorry.
Why do you do it?
I agree with most of his policies.
Oh my god, like which ones?
I agree that abortion is murder, mostly.
Okay. So abortion is murder. Even though we have only had increasing numbers of abortion, you're going to support Trump, even though he's like revoking like healthcare from 17 million Americans, risking the SNAP benefits of 11 million Americans, increasing average insurance premiums on middle-class Americans by $26,000 per year, just destroying foreign relations, imposing tariffs on our allies, and emboldening conflicts. Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So abortion being murder is pretty serious to you. Do you think that abortion is murder because fetuses are human life and you're a Christian and you think all human life is valuable?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, okay. And would you say that ultimately the wrong maker of abortion is the fact that it's a sin that transgresses upon the moral law of God?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, well, so is lying. So would you say in the same sense that we should ban abortion, we should also ban lying as that is a sin in which transgresses upon the moral law of God?
I'm sorry, Dean. I love you. We love you, Dean. I'm sorry.
I appreciate you guys for the love. They were in too deep there. We're going to move on. You guys just looking for some debates. We got elevated Texan loading up in. They just found themselves like in too deep. What's going on, elevated? Do you support Trump? Elevated Texas is not here. Lord of God. Says somebody in the chat. Mocking me. Okay, let's see if we could get G-Man 1972 up here. Here's a picture of a Ukrainian soldier as his profile picture. I really hope that he's not Maga. Are you Maga?
No, man, I'm not.
Okay, he's driving. Sorry, bro, gotta kick you. We're gonna move on to Tucker. I feel like Tucker's maybe 14. Watch, I was gonna check out. Oh my god, yeah, this guy's totally like 14 max. 14 max, everybody. So his name is Tucker, mewing emoji, fishing emoji, cross emoji, and then his bio says, I like dirt bikes and fishing. In fact, I'm like so convinced that you're 14, so unfortunately I'm just gonna remove you before you even load in. We're gonna move on to the next guest, everyone. Let's gonna get that next guest, DNE666, loaded in the box. M, thank you for the $5 over on PayPal. That is incredibly kind of you. Thank you, M. Paula, thank you for the $10 over on Super Chat. What's going on, DNE? Do you support Trump? DNEEE, hello? Okay, they're not here. I just simply don't know if we're going to be able to identify any more Trump supporters before we end. Deanna, thank you for the $15 Australian on Super Chat. They say, hi, Dean. I'm from Australia, and I wanted to learn more about the political system in America. The BBB is a terrible bill. It's crazy how people can support Trump. I see that from Australia. Bro, honestly, I feel like the outsiders, like, I bet you guys are just super lost, dazed, and confused about how so many Americans can support, like, a very obviously tyrannical leader that only wants to hurt them. You know, it really confuses me as well. But I'm like more socially used to it since there's a lot of people around me that do. But I bet like you are just like so disconnected from that because you're in another country that you're even like more confused than I am. Moving on to the next guest. Here we go. What's going on, Debbie Abby? Do you support Trump? Debbie Abby, are you there? Hello, Debbie Abby. Hello. Okay, not there. Phenomenal. Okay. All right. Goodbye. Yo, I need to take a trip up to Boulder soon. Is anybody in here from Boulder? I'm gonna be up there soon. That's right. Hey, what's going on? Do you support Trump? Nope. Nope, they don't.
Hello?
Hi, how old are you?
I'm not old enough, but I just want to say, like,
Sorry, bro, I gotta kick you. All right, I honestly don't know if we're gonna have any luck finding another debate tonight. We might end a little bit ahead of schedule if we can't get a debate. I mean, technically, we only have around 20 minutes left. I'd say if we can't get a debate going in the next 5, we are just gonna go to an end.
I'm so sorry, but I love what you're doing.
All right, appreciate that. If you're in the queue and you love what I'm doing and you want to see another 15 minutes of it, hop out of the queue. Super easy. Because I am going to end in around 5 minutes if we can't get a debate going. What's going on? Do you support Trump? Alrighty. Moving on, here we go. We got the next guest loading in. What's up? You support Trump?
Chat, Chinese or pizza?
Pizza. But now you said out loud, I actually am in the mood for some Chinese food. Oh, yeah, I am. Shit. I know what I'm going to do for dinner. We're going to move on to the next guest. Here we go, everybody. All right. What's up? Do you support Trump? Great. We have another, 3 more minutes until I give up. In 3 minutes, I'm going to give up. What's up? Do you support Trump?
I do. Okay, but to a certain degree.
Okay, how old are you?
I'm 18.
What year were you born in?
2006.
Okay. And why the hell do you support Trump?
Okay, so only for oil and gas.
So do you think
know
it's
what I
better
mean?
for the production of oil and gas in America?
I believe so. So I don't really know too much about politics.
All right.
I only really know more about the whole abortion stuff that's going on.
Right. So, surprisingly, the Biden-Harris administration was the best administration we've ever had for the production of American oil. So, the most oil ever produced under Donald Trump's first term was in December of 2019 at 12.8 thousand barrels of oil per day. And that number was actually beat for over a year and a half straight under the Biden-Harris administration starting in July of 2023. As well as Anna, thank you for the $10 over on Venmo saying come to Boulder. Yeah, I'm gonna be out there soon. I actually have a lot of friends that I need to see. I'll probably be out there in the next couple weeks. I'd love to go out there. Anyways, so yeah, there's the facts.
So I have one question.
Uh-huh.
It's about the whole immigration thing and the deportation and stuff like that. So everybody, what was his name? Before Joe Biden, I always forget his name.
Trump?
The president. No, not Trump.
Obama?
Obama,
You
yes.
forget
Obama.
Obama's name?
Yes, I'm sorry. Listen, I'm sorry.
Oh, jeez.
But, so why was everybody okay with him, deporting a lot of people? Because, a lot of people were okay with it then. I'm not. See, to me, that's a little crazy for,
Yeah,
deporting people.
this is something about Trump that you're not going to support.
Yeah, see, I to a certain degree, but
So what about Trump do you support? Because you brought up oil production, but I was able to give you
Really?
facts to demonstrate he was actually worse for oil production. And my source was the EIA. That's going to be the Energy Information Administration.
I would say with abortion.
Big abortion, like the last 3 guests. So you think that abortion's murder? Are you Christian?
A little bit.
Is that why you think abortion's murder?
No.
Okay, why do you think abortion's murder?
Well, so I know in the beginning that it's just people say that it doesn't have a heartbeat and everything like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because it's true.
Yeah. But I feel like if you're longer in the term and it has a heartbeat, then I feel like that's murder. And I also feel like if you...
Why do you care about a heartbeat so much?
Well, because at that point, it's like an actual living thing.
It's definitely alive before the heartbeat, too. So, like unicellular organisms, like the, I don't know, like for instance, the bacteria on your teeth, they are alive. They don't have heartbeats.
The bacteria on your teeth?
Yeah, they're plaque. It's
Oh,
bacteria.
okay.
They're alive, and they don't have heartbeats.
I just feel like the main thing that I feel like with abortion is I feel like if you were being stupid and not using protection or anything like that and you get pregnant, I just kind of feel like that's a little weird.
So you think that you should have to deal with the pregnancy as a woman because it's a natural consequence of the action that you decided to engage in of intercourse.
Well, I feel like if you were being stupid and not using protection or being on birth control, like if you don't want kids at that age, then I feel like you should do what you need to do. I know accidents do happen, sure, but I just feel like that's a little.
All right, so I just want to make sure that you're like correctly packaging your view, okay? Because you shouldn't call this view pro life. You know what you should call this view?
What?
Pro control of women. Because I'm asking you to describe like why you think these women and girls should lose access to abortion, and then your response is to say because the women are stupid. Like I mean, I don't like it when people like hide behind this virtue shield of saying that they care about the unborn, when in all reality, like their explicit motivations for why they support pro-life legislation is literally because you just don't like women. Or you think that some women are stupid, you think that some women are reckless, and you think that they should be punished for that stupidity or recklessness by being a mom. Now, on one hand, I don't think anything's reckless about like wanting to engage in sex. Obviously, we'd advocate for like the use of protection, but a lot of individuals either don't have access or don't even know like what to do and how to be safe and engage in that action safely because of a lack of sex ed, right? But on the other hand, if we just want to assume that all women who get pregnant without an intention of being a mother are like really stupid and reckless, well, why do you want to force millions of women who are really stupid and reckless to raise kids? Isn't this going to have some type of like negative impact on the children? I don't know. It just seems like a really bad view, regardless of how we evaluate it. And then also just to the idea that, well, like, you know, we should have to deal with these outcomes because it's the natural consequence of sex. Well, I mean, there's a lot of natural consequences of a lot of actions that I engage in, that you engage in, that other people engage in, that we don't hold that same idea towards. Like, for instance, smoking cigarettes. The natural consequence of smoking cigarettes can be lung cancer, but that doesn't mean we should obligate people to deal with said lung cancer if they get it. No? Okay. Yeah. All right. Or like, what's another one? Maybe a natural consequence of going out to the beach and not wearing sunscreen is skin cancer. That doesn't mean if I develop skin cancer on my nose because I spent, you know, a couple hours out at Huntington Beach last Saturday, I should be denied service if I go into the hospital. You know, the natural consequence of starving yourself may be you know, a lack of like sufficient nutrition, but that doesn't mean if I get shipped to the hospital because I'm about to die from starvation, they shouldn't give me an IV with sufficient nutrition. I mean, we could go through this like all day long. It's like seemingly the only circumstance where you think individuals should have to face the quote unquote natural consequences of their actions is as it relates to sex and pregnancy.
Yeah, so I'm not saying that like abortion clinics should be shut down because to me, so let's say that you get like raped. You know what I mean? You get raped, you're young, and at this point you're kind of forced to have the child unless you go to like Kansas or something like that. I feel like at that point, then it's different because it's like you're young and just stuff like that. That's what I'm saying. Like some girls can be stupid. What I mean is for the teenagers mostly, because teenage pregnancy is skyrocketing by so much because of the lack of sex ed. Now, I'm not saying that these women should, like, I'm not telling these people, hey, go get, you know, like, it's their choice at the end of the day. You know what I mean? I'm not going to sit here and tell people, like, and hate on them for it.
I'm so sorry. I think that you are confused. Can I tell you why I think that you're confused?
Yeah, go ahead.
Donald Trump's view isn't just like, oh, abortion sucks. No, Donald Trump's view is that states should have the ability to ban it, and states do ban it. If you more so just like don't like abortion, but you think that individuals, women and girls should be able to make that decision for themselves, you're pro-choice. Pro-choice is not a position that necessitates any claim about the morality of abortion. Pro-choice is a position that you just simply think other individuals should be able to choose for themselves.
Okay, so like basically what I'm trying to say is it's more of a 75% out of, whatever else. I just feel like 75% of, the whole whatever it is, the differences between them. For 75%, I feel like that's kind of with the teenagers being, the lack of sex ed and everything like that. I just feel like they should be safe than sorry, because there's a lot of people that have kids at such a young age. I'm not saying everybody, I'm just saying most people. I know a couple of people that have had kids at a young age and they just.
So I'm just still trying to determine what your view is. Should abortion be banned in any circumstances?
No, I don't think so personally.
Oh, okay.
But I'm
so
just
then
saying,
you agree with the Democrats. It's not something that you agree with Trump on.
well, no, what I'm trying to say is I don't think that abortion clinics should be banned because of, the whole, if you get raped, if there's this, that, you know what I mean?
But now, like, you're using rhetoric that seems to indicate to me that if you don't get raped and you just get pregnant, you should be denied an abortion. So which one is it? Should any woman be denied an abortion or not?
It's okay. I don't think you're like understanding what I'm trying to say. I'm probably wording this so terribly.
I just want to know if you think that of a pregnant woman in any circumstance should be denied access to abortion, and if so, what those circumstances are.
I just feel like if you're being stupid and, well, I'm not going to say stupid. If you're just being, if you're young and you just don't understand a lot about pregnancy, you know what I mean? Like, if you're not ready for a child, I feel like you should,
Okay. So if you're young and stupid and you get pregnant, you should be denied access to abortion, right?
To me, yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, phenomenal. So don't obfuscate, don't change the topic. What if you're young and smart? What if the woman is using birth control and the man's using a condom and he pulls out and, for whatever reason the stars align and there's a 0.0001% chance that the woman gets pregnant and she does? Should she be able to get an abortion?
See, so that right there, because it's the 0.1, it's like dang near 0%. Like, it's just.
I know, but if it happens, should they be denied access to abortion?
I really don't know on that part because it's like it's the 0.1.
I feel like I'd like a little bit more of a clear answer.
So basically, you're just asking if they should also be like denied.
Yeah, they're doing everything in their power that they can to prevent conception. Woman's on birth control and IUD. Man did the ball jacuzzi thing that reduces his sperm count and uses a condom. Woman still gets pregnant. Should she legally be allowed to get an abortion?
I actually, you know what? I'm going to say yes on that because, one, there could have been something wrong with the birth control. Like me, I'm on the patches and I've had bad patches before.
Okay, all right. So if I was to hold up to an ultrasound of a fetus conceived by two young stupid people that didn't use any type of birth control, and then two young smart people that used all the birth control in the book, if I showed you these two ultrasounds of these two fetuses, would you be able to to point out any clear difference?
No.
So you don't actually find any intrinsic value in the life of a fetus, okay? Right? The only difference between these situations was the mental states of the woman. So please tell me this. Why do you call yourself pro-life when in all reality, you're just pro-controlling women with mental states that you think are stupid?
So I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, I'm going to control these people. I'm going to tell them what they can and can't do. I'm just stating my opinion.
Okay, well, your opinion is that you should be able to control them and ban their access to abortion.
No.
No, because I made sure. I clarified with you. No, stop it. I clarified with you very explicitly that if you're quote-unquote young and stupid, you don't think you should be able to legally access abortion. You did make that one clear, so don't try to walk
Yeah, no, I made that one clear, yes.
So your opinion is that you should be able to control what other individuals can or can't do?
For that part, yes. I thought you were talking about like in general, like
right.
in all.
And I pointed out how that's not pro-life, that's pro-control of women because of their mental states, and this is not a position that has anything to do with the value of a fetus, and just totally a position that has to do with like punishing women for doing things that you disagree with.
Okay, and if that's what like your opinion is, that's fine. Everybody has different opinions.
I mean, do you agree or disagree with my evaluation of your position?
Not really.
Okay, so what part of my evaluation was wrong? Be specific.
I feel like this is the whole controlling part. Like, I just feel like that's my opinion.
Wait, so obviously it's going to control what a woman can or can't do if you say she can't access this form of healthcare. that's going to control and like limit her options
I
insofar
feel like
as the ways that she could move forward after pregnant. Like if I put a shirt on and then you say, Dean, you legally shouldn't be allowed to take that shirt off, and we're going to have armed guards pointing guns at you, and if you take that shirt off, you're done. Okay, well, like your opinion is that I should be controlled from taking the shirt off, right? And that's going to be like identically true as you're saying that, you know, women who get pregnant that are quote unquote stupid or whatever shouldn't be able to access legal abortion. You're saying that they should be controlled and should have their options limited.
If that's what you want to say, then sure.
Okay, but is that evaluation true?
I don't know.
Okay, how could you be
I don't think
agnostic?
so.
How could you be agnostic on if banning access to abortion is controlling or not controlling? What do you think I mean when I say controlling? I say forcefully limiting options. Does it forcefully limit the options of a pregnant woman when you ban access to abortion?
Yeah.
Okay, so thereby it's controlling.
Oh.
Right? Can we agree?
Then I guess I'm controlling it.
Okay, so yeah, you like your pro-life position is not an evaluation of like the value of a fetus and the prevention of an intrusion upon the value of a fetus, but your pro-life position is literally just controlling women that you think are stupid. Like that is a fair reduction of your view.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
So
why do you want to
then
control women that you
think
think are stupid?
What do you think about abortion?
Yeah, I just don't think that a fetus is morally valuable. I can't identify any reason why I should value it. Thereby, I can't identify any reason why we should control women that want to access abortion. That's crazy, right? And like all the reasons that you just brought up, being young and dumb, okay? Knowing that sex is an outcome that can occur from driving. Sorry, not from driving. Well, knowing that pregnancy is an outcome that can occur from sex, okay? Listen, I agree, okay? But I don't think that's good enough reason to ban it. Okay, because like lung cancer is an outcome of smoking cigarettes. We shouldn't ban lung cancer if you smoke cigarettes. We should just probably educate people on the fact that they shouldn't smoke cigarettes, just like we should probably educate people on the fact that if they do engage in sex, they should do so safely, right? I don't think that being able to point out pregnancy is a natural consequence is going to be enough reason to ban access to abortion for the reason I just gave. Also, I think it's worth pointing out that I don't think that it's like the fault of the woman or the man if conception does occur. I mean, that's a biological process that they couldn't consent to, that they couldn't change. Given that they were already engaging in sex, there's nothing that they could do about completely eliminating the potentiality of pregnancy occurring, right?
Mhm.
Like the same way we'd say, given that you decide to drive, okay, there's a certain possibility that you're going to be T-boned by a drunk driver on your way to Dairy Queen. Now, if you do get T-boned by that drunk driver on your way to Dairy Queen, Lennon, thank you for the future city. I do really appreciate you so much for the love. Thank you so much for the love, Lennon. Now, given that you do get T-boned by a drunk driver on your way to Dairy Queen, like, would we say it's your fault because you knew that like risk existed when you decided to drive? No. So then why should we say that like conception is the fault of the woman or the man just because they knew that risk existed when they decided to have sex?
Okay, that makes a little bit more sense then.
Right.
Kind
So
of just.
we've now went over, even though it's a natural consequence of the action, there's not enough reason to ban it, and it's also not necessarily the fault of the woman or the man.
Okay, so I think. And whenever I was growing up, I just grew up kind of just how I was explaining in a way. I love how these people are saying I'm lost. Guys, leave me alone. Oh my God. But anyways, so I grew up just kind of in that way. You know, I grew up with very Christian people. So that's kind of the one way that I have grown up learning about it. So I'm still learning about these other things. So like what you had just explained, like I am still learning about it. There's some things, yes, I can agree on, and then there's some things that I just can't agree on.
Okay. All right. I appreciate you for coming up. I'm going to move on. I mean, I think that your position is really bad, and I was able to describe why, like, pretty clearly multiple times, and if you didn't take anything away from that, like, I'm not going to be able to help you. Miss, thank you so much for the $20 super chat over on YouTube. Miss says, in Alabama public schools, we cannot teach any form of sex ed other than abstinence. Some schools do it anyways, but it's rare. I've taught pregnant 12-year-olds. Yeah, man, completely backwards and wrong. Honestly, I wouldn't be able to do what you do. I just couldn't. Fuck that. Fuck that so much. It's crazy. Thank you for the $20, oh miss. That is incredibly kind of you. As well as Mateo. Mateo, man, thank you so much for the $5 over on PayPal. That is incredibly kind of you, Mateo. Show some love to Mateo down below in that comment section. Yeah, pregnant 12-year-olds. That's also something I've seen in my hometown. We actually had a school where we just send like pregnant children to. It was kind of weird. Like my school district had a school where they'd send like pregnant young girls and like delinquent teens to learn. My mom did some sub work there for a little bit. It's kind of nuts. Yeah, it's absolutely insane. Kimberly, thank you so much for the $10 over on Venmo. Kimberly says, thank you for all that you do in revealing MAGAs for the vile people they are. Now is the time to fight together. I agree, Kimberly. Thank you for your $10 donation. As well as Aria with the $10 saying, what's your rebuttal to somebody that says IUDs are murder? Fuck MAGA? Oh, my rebuttal is that they're crazy. I don't know. And you're making them look crazy. You know, like if there's a woman that's killed like multiple zygotes with her IUD, she's a serial killer. Okay. Can we agree that the death penalty is justified for serial killers, given that we have 100% evidence of their guilt? Yes. So if we had 100% evidence that a woman has killed multiple zygotes, would it be justified to fucking kill her? There's a great reductive to that view. Ivy, thank you so much for the $15 over on Venmo. Ivy says, this is my first time seeing you. You're amazing and entertaining. I'm in a red state, and I really want to share and unleash you to my small town. That would be havoc. Ivy, I live in a small red town. It's pretty havoc over here. Dude, people in this town do not like me. And let me tell you, I am at risk when I go out. And then Sid, thank you so much for the $40 over on Venmo. Show some love to Sid down below in that comment section, everybody. Thank you so much for the love, Sid. Sid says, didn't get a notification that you went live, so I got hyped thinking I was about to catch a full Dean live today. Oh, well, hope it was a good one. It was all right. It was an all right day. Thank you for the love, Sid. And then Emily, thank you for the $2. That is incredibly kind of you as well. Okay, everybody watching. It has been a very long day. Wait, you guys are telling me that Karen's here? We're actually going to have Karen up before we end. Hi, Karen.
Yes, how are you doing?
Oh,
I have some
I'm doing great.
bad news for you.
Oh, you have bad news? Karen, what is it?
Well, good and bad. So the good news is, I made a song for you. And the bad news is my voice is going out, so I don't know how it's going to sound.
Oh, Karen, we'd love to hear it.
The better news is this. Because I've been watching, and I've been seeing, this is for everyone who joins for you, okay? So this is everyone who, I've been watching yesterday and the day before, and I've heard how some of these people talk to you, and I just wanted to say, if anyone messes with my virtual grandson, Dean, you're going to have to go through me. You're going to have to catch my elderly hands. And yes, I know that slang. You're going to have to come through me. I may be elderly, but I can still pack a punch. So don't go there with my virtual grandson, Dean.
Yes, Karen! We love you.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Dude, you could kick some ass, Karen, 110%.
That's what I'm saying. My bones, they're very strong still. They're very strong still. And everyone, they may say this, they may say that, but I don't like the way they're talking to you.
Yeah, these people suck, Karen. Well, that's very kind of you. I hope nobody has to catch your elderly hands. Like, I just feel bad for them. Like, I get fucked up.
Oh, absolutely. I'll tell you what, come on my block and they'll find out.
Do you have a song for us? Do you want to sing your song for us?
Yes. So it goes, Dean, you make my heart sing. You're my virtual grandson. And if anyone messes with you, they're going to have to come through me. Dean, my virtual grandson.
I have a question. Is this supposed to be like a spin on like, I just died in your arms tonight. No, 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 no. Yeah, I was kind of picking up on like, the...
Actually, yes. How did you know that?
I don't know. I'm just, I was picking up on it there.
So that's exactly what that is. And that's, the extent to what I have for the song I made for you. I'm still working on it. Definitely still working on it. And also, I'm actually looking, this is the bad news, Dean, because I'm also looking for asylum in Canada.
Dude, Karen, I thought you supported Trump.
Well, not after what I've seen. I did at first. I did because, of the Iran thing. Then I realized I had to get back to my senses.
Now you're looking for asylum in Canada?
Absolutely, I'm looking for asylum in Canada. I can't take it anymore. And actually, I'm going to use the funds that I have, and I'm going to try to pay for people to also seek asylum in Canada.
You know what? Good luck. good luck, Karen. I hope that goes well for you. You know, I hope that goes well for you. Good luck. You know,
And if that doesn't
do
work,
it.
I'm building an underground bunker, and everyone, you're allowed to come with if you want.
Let's just rebuild Fallout. You know, let's get a bunker going that'll last us like 500 years.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
All right, Karen. Well,
And
thanks.
you have a great day.
You know,
and like I said, you let me know if anyone's trying to mess with you.
You'll be the first person I call, Karen. You have a good rest of your day, too. All right, everybody. Great song, Karen. Great song. We are going to go ahead and end the stream for the day. By the way, I think that Karen's a troll, but honestly, at this point, I'm unsure. I don't know. I have no clue if Karen's a troll or not. Like, I have no fucking clue. Like, I don't know. If they are a troll, they're like really good at that old lady voice. It is like spot on. But we are going to go and hop off. Let's see if we can find anybody to raid here while we do. Oh my God, yo, Christian! Thank you so much for the $100 over on PayPal. Christian says, thank you for supporting gay rights. Dude, it's good to see you in here with us today. Christian, thank you so much for the love. Guys, show some love to Christian down below in that box, as well as Thomas. Thank you for the $10 over on PayPal, saying W Karen, so real. Thank you for the love. As well as Cassandra. Thank you so much for the $10 over on Venmo, and I appreciate your message, Cassandra. Show some love to Christian on our way out. I'm going to hopefully be able to find somebody that y'all can raid and show some love to. Dan's live. Dan's live. He does some good debates. I'm really not seeing anybody else that's live. I'm seeing Dan and Ian. How about I leave it up to a vote? Would you guys go and rather watch debates with Trump supporters or debates on if Christianity is true or not? And then Kimberly, thank you for the $20 over on YouTube Super Chat. Thank you. Dan, you guys want Dan? Okay. All right, you got it. Everybody head over to @Dan Politics on TikTok. That is DanMalek Politics on TikTok. Dan Malek Politics. Spam it in the chat. Go show him some love. Spam Dean Raid. Go in his chat. Go Dean Raid. Spam the chat. Go Dean Raid. @Dan Malek Politics. DanMalek Politics on TikTok. That's it. Hell yeah. And if you want to go listen to some debates on if Christianity is true or not, go to Ian @allegedly.ian. Great debater. Okay, everybody, we're going to end for the night @Dan for a Trump debates. Dan Malek Politics @allegedly.ian.